What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 457. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Everything's wrong in this world. The black hole swallowed us up, and maybe we're back in time. Maybe we're on episode 6. I don't know.
What a
It's this.
year.
It's the Smark Moment Smack Talk hot tags of the week. Normally, this is our breakdown of the rumors, the news, the gossip, the current events, and everything else that's happening in the world of
They
pro
keep
wrestling.
getting hotter as we talk.
They literally do. Like, today has been a mess. I'm your host as always, Tony Mango. Joining me is Robert DeFelice.
Oh, wow. Before a couple hours ago, I thought the biggest thing we'd talk about is Brock Lesnar, but it's gotten so much bigger.
God, today is one of those days, and I tell you, for things that are wrestling related and things that are not wrestling related, not in a good fucking mood. Just annoyed and stressed, and my neck is killing me, my back's killing me, my head's killing me. I got so many things going on and all that. Of course, today's been a mess with a lot of news stories and stuff. It's gonna make for a fun hot tags, though. You guys are gonna hear some stuff today, you know.
Political discussion, some wacky shit. I'm ready.
I don't even know if I'm ready, but we might as well go ahead and do what we're doing.
But if you're ready, you need to leave a comment down below and join this wacky discussion. Am I right, Tony?
You totally need to. I need to get other opinions about these things because there's so much we're gonna break down. I am expecting this to be a 2-hour edition, and I'm already about 6 hours behind on things I wanted to do. So at this point, it's like I'm gonna use this as one of those venting hours again, kind of thing. Speaking of which, when it comes to venting and all that. Yeah, if you're leaving a comment, you should be doing that on YouTube. Obviously, YouTube is the best place to do that. And hey, you know what? Look at this weird situation where I'm not going to be complaining about YouTube. It's kind of strange. YouTube working pretty well so far. So hit that like button. Show support for this video if you like it a lot. Next to that like button is a little applause button as well. And that's kind of a little side thing, kind of like a Patreon type of thing. Same thing as the little membership thing. You can join on YouTube. That is essentially YouTube's Patreon. Of course, the Patreon's out there if you want to show your support in the monetary side of things to do that. Take advantage of the Patreon. I've broken it down a million times by now. If you don't know what it is, just go ahead and browse it. I don't need to explain it all. You're either interested in joining or you're not. But while you're subscribed on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, double check about that. I know that there's been a thing going on with some channels recently where people said that they didn't realize that they weren't subscribed or some different things like that. Just double check, make sure you're subscribed, ring that little notification bell. And like I said, drop a comment. You should be listening to us on YouTube. If you're not listening to us on YouTube and you're listening elsewhere, at the very least, don't listen on TuneIn because TuneIn is awful when it comes to this. If it's been over, it was July 17th or so, I originally got in contact with them about them not having the proper episodes up. Hey, look at that. It's still not fixed. So the hell with TuneIn. They don't even bother responding to my messages anymore. Go listen to literally any other platform that's out there, and I'm sure you're going to have a better service than you will with TuneIn. Good thing is we're probably going to be on Amazon Music and Audible pretty soon. I know I got the invite for that earlier today. I already sent in the information for that, so they just have to approve that and start getting the launch process going. So that's a thumbs up. Thumbs big goal down on TuneIn. So listen to us on the good platforms. Don't listen to us on the bad ones. Check out Spotify. That works perfectly fine. Check out Apple Podcasts. Totally awesome on there. Stitcher, great. Google Play, hey, cool. Just not TuneIn. And hey, if you're listening from TuneIn and whatever, you're one of the TuneIn people, fix the feed. How about that? How about you do your job? This is one of those kind of days. Should I go off on Best Buy or should I not make that a part of this?
You know what? Let's save it for a little bit down the road because I'm sure we can work it in naturally about a conversation about doing your job properly.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will. I have a note on the side here that's not. I color code a lot of things for anybody who doesn't know. And my Microsoft Word document right now, I usually have like the hot tags in red. I have the title in gold. Just to kind of separate things from my eye really quickly. I literally have a note in blue, which means erase this at some point. Don't just copy and paste it, where it says shit list. And it's just a reminder of, if you want to complain about something, here's some people to talk about, So I can cross off TuneIn on that list. There you go. We have lots to get into. So yes, definitely drop your comments below. tell me your thoughts on everything that's going on here. We are going to bounce around all over the place here. I don't think that we're going to have a good, like, let's transition this into that kind of thing. So I'll start off with this one because this one's weird. Jabroni's now in the dictionary.
Oh, yeah, that too. Among everything else, jabroni's in the dictionary because this is what our life is now.
That's a cool thing, though. That's one of those positives. I wanted to start on a positive note outside of the, complaining about stuff.
He got SmackDown in the dictionary years ago. I'm surprised that jabroni is just getting in there now.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been in there. That kind of shocked me a little bit, too.
Does that mean they're going to change the definition of pie soon?
Maybe they're going to change the spelling of smell to smell. It's just going to add a whole bunch of L's and stuff.
By the way, he got COVID.
Oh, God, I didn't even write that down on the list. Oh, my God, this week and day and year and life.
Okay, for anyone listening for the first time, we're not usually this wacky, but
we're not usually like this, and
it's one of those days. It's just wow.
Not only are we not normally like this, all this year we're not normally like this. Like, we were joking before we even started recording. Rob's like, I'd love to listen back to the first hot tags of this year before we know that everything is going to be as insane as it is for this year. And it's true.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
just to see what, like, we're probably like, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. Tony, we thought that was the worst of our problems. Oh
right?
No, Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez, who's no longer a part of WWE, by the way, and Brock Lesnar, who is a free agent.
No longer a part of WWE.
Like, Jesus.
What a year. It's getting to the point where I kind of love it. Like, it's just so fucking out there. All of it.
If it weren't for the things like Best Buy and the other things that just, regular, like, hey, you need a new roof and you need this. And like, if it weren't for that element to things, the sheer chaos of like the news cycle would be kind of fun. It's just a matter of being like, oh, hey, like 100, I don't know, shots to the gut. Here's one to the face instead, that kind of thing. But yeah, we'll talk about the Brock Lesnar thing in a little bit too. But like, I
don't know. Jabroni's in the dictionary. I think that's cool. Rock getting COVID, not so cool, but it is cool that he beat it.
His whole family essentially got it. AJ Styles was saying that he had gotten it, I think, right?
Yeah, that got us all into some hot water that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, that's a thing. Apparently, Batman's got it. For the people who follow fanboysanonymous.com, the whole site about movie reviews and different kind of stuff like that, which, by the way, show more love for Fanboys Anonymous. My God, I need to do more fanboy stuff instead of pro wrestling stuff. So hit up the Patreon for fanboys. Show the some love over to the Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube.
Talk about Batman.
I want to talk so much more about Batman. I need a Batman break. Did I even say that in a chat, or did I just imagine saying that of something like
no,
I really just
read my mind because I could also use a Batman break.
I just like I want to watch like Justice League and just eat cake and ice cream and cry and just kind of that's what I want to do this year. Just stop it. I want to get into the covers, watch some Batman and whatever, or like some old Power Rangers episodes or something that makes me feel a little better and just feel like, But yeah, Batman's got COVID. Rock had COVID. AJ Styles did, but Jabroni's in the dictionary, so that's a positive.
Kevin Nash had COVID.
Yeah, he said that too. Yeah. Just sort of one of those things where everybody's raising their hand now.
Strowman sharing on his Instagram story that he believes COVID is a hoax. So, peaks and valleys, folks. Peaks and valleys.
Strowman's a part of that group?
Yep.
Hey, look at that. Another thing to add into the year. Strowman loses some points. It's just...
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's talk about the Brock Lesnar thing, because that's a thing. Brock Lesnar is a free agent, and of course everybody's going, he's going to go to AEW. I don't think he's going to AEW. I think that's just a matter of him. If anything comes about with this other than just flat out re-signing with WWE, it'll be using AEW for leverage for a better contract.
I don't think anything comes of it at all. Listen, Tony Khan was like, "Well, I think that he's a great worker, and I can't comment on negotiations," and I respect that. I really do, Tony, but you're not negotiating with Brock Lesnar. Stop it. Stop it. Like, listen, if I'm wrong and he's number 21 in the Casino Battle Royal, that's fucking awesome. Like,
Right.
don't
That
get me
would be pretty
wrong.
cool.
Brock Lesnar in AEW is a cool idea, but it's not happening. On the flip side, Dana White's like, yeah, I want to see this. I want to book this. It's not happening either. Brock's going to sit at home until he's ready to go back to WWE. In fact, Fightful reported, I work there, that
They reported that you work there.
no,
New report comes out. Hey, Robert DeFelice is on the team.
they reported that this happens every year. It's just that this year, because of obvious reasons, it's taking a little longer to come up with a new deal.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised. I will not be surprised once it just says we came to a new term agreement for a year for Brock and whatever. That's going to happen. And you know what? If it doesn't, who fucking cares? You know, like it sounds really mean. Not actually not mean. It sounds kind of ridiculous to say who would care if Brock Lesnar would go somewhere. But look, he has been a part of WWE for years. He has fought everybody that seems like it's a big enough deal at this point. I don't want to see Brock versus Roman. I don't really have any matches all that much that I'm really interested in. Like, there's some, like, Kevin Owens, if he were to beat Brock Lesnar, cool. Would have been a lot better a couple years ago. And if you're not going to have a crowd and you're not going to have all the elements that would make a Brock Lesnar thing matter all that much more, do I really care if necessarily, in the grand scheme of things, Keith Lee doesn't get a match with Brock Lesnar that Brock would probably win? No, not really. I'd be fine with him not being a part of it, and from WWE to not use that as an excuse anymore. You know?
Well, I've always known how you feel, but I want to see Brock do some more stuff. I just don't think it'll be immediate. You know?
I'm anticipating nothing to happen at all for a while, and then it'll just be, look at that, a couple months from now or something, new terms. That's it.
Yeah, maybe. You know what though? I'm liking what they've got Heyman doing in the meantime.
I would like to say that I like that as well, but I missed that segment. That's
Oh,
not.
you know what? Maybe we can get you to watch it before we talk about it, because it's pretty quick. But Paul Heyman is good. Heel Roman Reigns is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Well, if Brock is out of the company, at least for now, he's not the only person this week to talk about when it comes to that, because Mauro Ranallo has left WWE and AOP has been released from WWE. Mauro, it seems like he is leaving on his own accord. He has said that.
They announced that they amicably split.
Right. And it seems like he doesn't really necessarily want to do this. He wants to focus on some of his more like charitable type of stuff. He wants to get take better care of take better care of himself and his family, his mom. It seems like that is his call, not WWE saying like, we've had enough of this kind of thing and you're released. It seems like he's like, yeah, I got to step away.
I like Mauro Ranallo. I know that the popular consensus has vastly shifted to say that he's a bit obnoxious and overbearing and yada yada yada, but I like him. I like his enthusiasm. I missed him on the call for that 60-minute Iron Man match. Yeah, I like Mauro Ranallo, and he's one guy I would like to see go to AEW.
Yeah, I get it when people say that they think he's too much and that he's a little overbearing and all that other kind of stuff. I understand it. And there's a couple times here and there where I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. You don't need to be like, how do I shoehorn in a reference for such and such in this kind of spot or whatever. But his enthusiasm and his passion is just so fun. And it's so much better than this droll, blah, whatever kind of thing that a lot of the other commentators have. Like,
the big dog.
Give me Mauro going like absolutely bonkers over something and then having to catch himself and be like, oh wow, I gotta like catch my breath and whatever. Then to have somebody, not to crap on him specifically, but like a Tom Phillips type or something, just a generic Vic Joseph, whatever, just being like, oh, look at what Bailey's doing. Oh wow, Big E, he landed a whatever, and we're just like, it's all sounding the same. Give me somebody who sounds different. So I like Mauro, and I hope that he comes back to WWE in some fashion at some point.
I agree.
I'm liking Wade Barrett, so it's not like they went from somebody who's great to somebody who's awful, but I still would rather it be like, hey, Wade, why not Wade Barrett go to Raw or SmackDown and then Mauro stay on NXT? And like, by no means are the commentary teams that we have right now the commentary teams that I would want. Some reshuffling, some people just not a part of it, some people replaced entirely. We've had worse, we've had better.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as AOP is concerned, that sucks. They pretty much
What a
wasted
shocker.
them.
Let's go back to the first of the year and talk about how they were with Seth Rollins and what an 8-man faction or what a 4-man faction they got going on and all that.
Seemed like they were kind of getting back on track a little bit after this whole your storylines about somebody peeing on a robe kind of thing.
Yeah.
You had a talker for them. You had a purpose for them because they were the heavies backing up Rollins. Now they did have both an injury, and that halted their pushes quite a bit. That's not really necessarily their fault. It's not necessarily WWE's fault, but I will say the way that they've been treated for the most part on the main roster, that's WWE's fault. They could have figured out something better for them to do. They're these juggernaut brutes. They don't need to have anything super crazy going on.
What if I told you, Tony, that WWE cares so little about tag team wrestling that one of its premier tag team wrestlers just earned a singles championship match at a pay-per-view?
What would you think if you were telling me that in 2019 to happen for this year, and that I would say it's one of my favorite things happening right now?
Well, I would just tell you, if you told me 6 months ago that, oh, hey, you know what? One of the headliners at Clash of Champions is going to be. That's okay, Tony. What the fuck are you on?
Right.
But yeah, that's how WWE feels about tag team wrestling. I think they got fucking jacked because they should have been a big deal, and it's wrong that they weren't. But I knew the writing was on the wall first night when they kicked out Paul Ellering. I said it's over.
I wasn't assuming that they were totally doomed, but it didn't seem like it was the right call to make, and it never felt like it was the right call to make in retrospect. And you know what? Maybe that would have made all the difference. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe it would have been the injuries got in the way and whatever ended up happened, whatever. But I do think that if you've got a team or even a single star that has somebody as a manager and that the act is working, and you take the manager away, or for that matter, if you take anything away from somebody, like, look at Keith Lee. We've been talking about this before, where it's like, this guy, he's got something, so let's change it all. Like, come on, you change his finisher, you change his theme, you change his ring gear and whatever. If you like what he's got, why are you changing it? If I were to hire a cook for a restaurant and say, you make fantastic burgers, but can you do it completely differently? I'd be like, well, then why did you hire that person? Akam and Rezar are big, brute, silent killer types. And
But can they handle a manager that pisses himself?
They put him with Drake Maverick. I love Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick is not the guy for that type of role. Just the same as I'm a big fan of R-Truth. I love what he does with this kind of stuff. But if R-Truth were doing the exact same shtick as WWE champion, I'd be like, oh, come on. Don't make the WWE champion do that kind of stuff. Like, don't have him lose by roll-ups. Don't have this happen with whatever. Same for, pairing up different people with different managers. If we were to take, like, we got Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman right now. Very cool. If you were to say, yeah, but what if it would be different and we put Roman with Lana? I don't think this is going to work. Just...
You know what? In another world, it might have.
Another world, I mean...
Roman Reigns with a hot blonde like Lana, I'd watch it potentially, but
Can we go to that other world where it's not 2020 in this dimension that we've got going on? I'd love to take that trip.
yeah,
We need like
I
the
would love to
Fantastic
as well.
Four or something to just kind of bridge the gap and be like, hey, look at that. We're out of the negative zone. We were like, yay, we're saved. All right. We're not spiraling into our abyss at this point. Yeah, it sucks for Akam and Rezar. They can't use the names Akam and Rezar and Authors of Pain and
There'll be
AOP
Akam
going
and
anywhere.
Rezar.
Maybe they will be. They'll be Toka and Rezar. Where do you think they go?
The landscape is so different. You know what I fucking found out though? They're my age. They're 26 and 27.
No.
Yeah.
They're
Sean
that
was
much.
telling me that earlier.
They're that much younger than I am, even.
They're that much younger than Orange Cassidy's on the way to 36.
What?
Yeah.
I thought that he was maybe 31.
No, he's 36. Well, he will be.
Can they like
Akam and
just give
Rezar.
like the combination of the two and all meet in the middle at 30?
Akam and Rezar are 26 and 27. They can go wherever they want and do whatever they want.
That's crazy.
Fuck it. Give him a name, give him Ellering, because Cody loves it anyway, and put him in AEW.
Are they gonna be the new Road Warriors to go with the whole Four Horsemen?
Hell yeah. You know what? Give them the war paint, give them whatever. They can be the new Road Warriors. Have them fight the Revival. We already know the matches are good. Just do it.
You know what they do? We were joking the other day about the idea of like, what do they do with the Four Horsemen? Or I wrote up a post about this on eWrestling News if anybody's interested, of me just kind of shooting shit and being like, what's this Four Horsemen thing going to be? Where I tossed out the idea, where we were joking before about the idea of like forward and like I don't know, foreskin or whatever the hell you would say it. But like all these four related things. I was like, what if they went with the stable because it's horse related? Like that would be kind of funny.
Then Hangman has to turn.
Oh, then Hangman has to. That's the point. But what if they went with, okay, let's do the Four Horsemen again. And we can't call it the Four Horsemen, so we'll call it the Stable or the Forcemen or whatever the hell you want to call it. And they got Tully and Arn and FTR and Sean Spears and either Cody or Hangman or whatever it is. I don't know, maybe Kenny gets thrown in there, whatever happens. And then they go, hey, I know, we really want to tap into that old Road Warriors thing, but we can't call them the Road Warriors. Okay, so let's bring in Paul Ellering, because now Rachel Ellering is in the mix somewhere in there. She's not signed, but, you know, she did the whole tournament thing. Be like, let's get Paul Ellering in. Let's get Animal to come in. And we can have Akam and Rezar come in. And we can call one of them Road and the other one Warrior.
That would be the funniest thing ever.
It's like, here we go. The team of Road and Warrior. Since they do that Cody and Brandy Rhodes type of thing. Do it. It's 2020. None of this matters. Just do it. I'd like to see them in maybe New Japan. That'd be kind of fun. I think they probably would end up going to Impact more than anything, because it seems like Impact's the place for people to go at this point. Because remember when TNA was a thing, and then I remember when it died, and then remember when it became GFW, and then I remember when it came to Impact, and then I remember when it died again, and then it died again, and then it came back and died again, and came back and died again, and came back, and it's just this cycle. It's like some member of like the, I don't know, the D-level Justice League or something, where it's like Matter Eater Lad or something. It's like TNA Revival Boy or something. Like, I could see them going there. I could see them going to AEW. New Japan would be kind of fun, but maybe not. I don't think that they would make a whole lot of sense in like an NWA or like an MLW or so. I think it's kind of Impact or AEW.
I don't want to see them in Impact. I mean, that's in the nicest way possible. I don't think they need to be in Impact. They need to be in front of people being big ass dudes that beat the fuck out of people.
What are their real names?
I have no clue.
Double check that ahead of time, just well, not ahead of time. I'm doing it right now.
I know
That's kind of the opposite
they're
of that.
MMA fighters, or at least one of the ones can be. I don't know, man. They have options. Because MLW is restarting in October. Ring of Honor is already filming. There is options.
There's I don't know how to pronounce this for sure. Sunny Dinsa and Zim Salmani. So I mean, they could just go by those names, and people just be like,
Sunny
right.
and Zim.
Yeah.
Or what's the Sunny's last name?
I just clicked out of it already.
It's Zim and Zam, the Zam Zimmers.
Dhinsa. Dinsa, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, 27.
Zim and Sa, or you know what? Fuck it. Mad and Max, the Road Warriors. Okay?
Oh my God! There you go.
I've had it. They're just gonna be Fury Road Warriors, or like
the Fury Road or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Fuck it. I like it. Just do it.
One of them can be Charlize, the other one can be Theron, and then they can be the Furiosos.
Love it. We need more of this, Tony.
Oh, we really do. Did I plug merchandise shops? I don't think I did. Go ahead. Maybe if you want me to make some designs of these kind of things, I'll go ahead and do something like that. Mad and Max, the Furiosos, or Charlize and Theron, the Furiosos. I don't know. If you will find that, and you'll find it up on the Fanboys Anonymous one of those, though. But there's a Redbubble and TeePublic for Fanboys for Smark, MM, and A Mango tees. So if you want to pick up a t-shirt or any of the other kind of products that you could put any of those designs on, just go ahead and browse those catalogs, check them out, and pick something up. Let's talk about the new trademark. Already, Roman Reigns has abandoned the one "wreck everyone and leave" slogan for "show up and win." Not really digging that as much.
You know what? I honestly, when I read the trademark, I was like, that'd be a funny one for John Cena to come back with and combat Roman Reigns. Show up and wreck everyone and leave. Show up and win. I guess they probably ran into some issues with wreck everyone and leave, or maybe they didn't like that my Twitter friend Trina wanted a shirt that said wreck this pussy and leave. I don't know, like maybe.
Well, you know, the merchandise shops, maybe I will.
You know, I like it. I like heel Roman. I will say this. It is the most interesting thing they've done in a while.
Have you ever seen the movie Mafia?
No.
It's one of those like spoof movies where it makes fun of Goodfellas, Casino, and The Godfather predominantly. And great movies, by the way. Casino's a little bit, not quite as much, but
Casino's good.
Casino's
The Irishman.
The Irishman's not great, but it's good. Casino's.
You've seen it enough.
It's one of those. David Spade's got a great joke that they did before where he's like, you know, Casinos, blah, 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 whatever. I liked it better the first time when I saw it when it was called Goodfellas, because Goodfellas is the better version of Casino.
Fair enough.
But Godfather 2, by the way, two of my favorite movies of all time, just the best. But Mafia has this part where they're making fun of specifically Casino, and it is so funny. I'm spoiling it essentially, but hey, it's one of those movies that if you haven't seen it by now, it came out like 91 or something. They're going through all the casino games, and instead of having it be just like blackjack and poker and, you know, this one's Texas Hold'em and this one's a roulette thing, you know, like those kind of things, they start replacing some of them with some other games, like they're playing Chutes and Ladders. And there's one game called You Absolutely Cannot Win. And people come up and they put money down, and the guy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, you lost." I fucking died when I saw that. That other person goes up to an ATM to try to withdraw money, and it says you lose, and the guy's like, "Nah." So he just loses at the ATM.
Tony, is that not our life?
It kind of seems like it. And when I heard that WWE was trademarking "show up and win," I'm like, is this the opposite of "you absolutely cannot win"? You literally show up and they're just like, "You won," and it's like, "Woo! I didn't even do anything." Definitely check out Mafia, everybody. It's not as strong as like the first Scary Movie, nowhere near as strong as Naked Gun or Not Another Teen Movie, but it's one of those, just like there's some funny things that happen in it. They make fun of Forrest Gump in the movie too, which doesn't make like a whole lot of sense because it's a mafia related thing, but they make fun of that. Um, it's got its moments, and the absolutely, you absolutely cannot win is one of my favorite parts about that. It's just the look on everybody's faces too when they put the money down and they're just like, crap, like I lost. I'm sorry you lost. I'm sorry you lost. Show up and win. It's just, maybe that should be a new slogan for play the game, since we don't have any prizes on the line or something like that. Show up and win. You know what? Everybody won. That's our recording. Just kind of. How do we bounce her out here? What do we go with? Let's go with October 4th. We know a little bit more information about this whole pay-per-view restructuring schedule now.
NXT TakeOver Halloween Havoc, am I right?
It should be. We are gonna, at least it's not 100% confirmed at this point. It seems like it's more and more likely that it's going to be the case. We had heard that there was going to be something on October 4th and that there may be another takeover. Now it seems like what's probably going to happen is NXT UK is going to switch that NXT UK takeover Dublin that was originally at the beginning of the year, then it became October 25th. Now that's becoming October 4th and not in Dublin. And then Hell in a Cell is going to move from October 18th to November 1st. And then we won't get Crown Jewel on November 5th, like what was originally planned. And we won't get NXT TakeOver War Games on the 21st, which was originally planned, which makes a lot of sense because they're going to be a part of Survivor Series most likely. So why bother having an event right beforehand with the NXT people? Probably not going to get Starrcade. And then we're going to get, before the December 20th TLC, we'll probably get another NXT takeover. And that'll be either War Games or they'll go with a different theme in some fashion. I'm assuming that they probably want to do War Games, but they don't know for sure if they're going to at that point.
Yeah. You know what? I'm okay with them not doing War Games this year.
I'm okay with it too. I don't know who you would even necessarily put in the match. It's pretty much been the Undisputed Era and everybody like that. And if it's just going to be more teams, maybe you don't need it.
Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee's boys.
Yeah, see, like at that point, don't need it.
Yeah, they don't need to be in War Games.
I am much more into the idea of just an NXT takeover, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they just call it something specific about December. I mean, they can't really call it NXT takeover Florida because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But like, maybe they have another name that they're sitting on, like the Super Brawl type of thing.
Florida. Why can't NXT?
Yeah. Super Brawl wouldn't make any sense. That's around the Super Bowl and everything. But you know what? Actually, maybe what they do, NXT takeover Starrcade. There you go. Yeah. See, look at that. We're following logic, and that could probably be the case. I wouldn't be shocked now that we said that if that's not what happens.
I'd be okay with it, but then I would want the argument that NXT TakeOver Starrcade has to be at the end of every year, and it should be their biggest one.
To me, I don't think it really matters.
Starrcade's not. Would never do that.
Starrcade's not Starrcade the way that it used to be. For that matter, I've never seen a full Starrcade. Never actually sat down and watched a full event.
Somebody give money to Patreon.
Without knowing that you were going to say about the Patreon and stuff, it just sounded so weird to me. Somebody give money. Like now I'm thinking to show up in one thing again.
Starrcade 97, because it's like the one where everything goes to shit afterwards with Tony.
Who's the headlining act?
The main event is Sting versus Hogan. It's the payoff to the whole NWO, Sting, all that, starting in June of the year prior. So somebody donate to the Patreon, the Pick Your Poison tier, Starrcade 97. We will do a full watch along, eat popcorn. It'll be great. Tony's never seen a Starrcade, so we need to fix that.
It could be the first episode of Miss the Smark. We still haven't had a chance to do that. Because remember at the beginning of the year when it was like, here's a bunch of ideas. This will be a fun year. And then everything went to hell. Then it became, we have no room to do a lot of these kind of things. I did start a new segment over the past week or so, Creative License. That's a new thing on there, where I'll
Nice.
just every once in a while put a fan fiction type thing up and be like, here's my pitch. And the pitch for this one was, how do we get the King of the Ring crown off of Baron Corbin? And the long and short of it is, he loses that, you get a new King of the Ring, and he feuds with that person. But there's more details to that. It's not just that. Then it wouldn't be a point of an article. Imagine if I wrote articles like that, where it's like, I don't know, like say predictions for whatever, and it's like that one, that one, that one, that one. Then you just go, all right, 2 seconds worth of that. Yeah, so that's the lineup for this year, it seems, for the pay-per-views, which means, look at that, I got to restructure a whole bunch of things all over again. And maybe we'll get the time to do some different things in the meantime.
Okay. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that opens up some little other kind of days to play around with some other stuff. I mean, I had it planned, for instance, that the quarter 4 mailbag was going to be in between Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell. Well, now we've got potentially a 3-week window where that could be the case. Or actually a 2-week. It all kind of depends on Hell in a Cell. But we'll do the Hell in a Cell stuff around that time. We'll do, obviously, TakeOver predictions before any TakeOver events. We'll play around with whatever we would play around with. I don't think that changes anything as far as things like Call the Spot or, you know, some of the other sidebar things that kind of happen throughout the year. We'll do that around Survivor Series and the website in some fashion. We'll do the tier list still in October for the AEW roster. I know somebody messaged me earlier today asking if I was going to add a depth chart for the women's division and for the AEW ones. Definitely not for the AEW, maybe for the women's division. It all kind of depends on timing and stuff. But pay-per-view schedule switching around quite a bit. Something else to try to keep track of. Yay, more work. Let's talk about some AEW things. Let's go with the idea that Pentagon Jr. is not going to be Pentagon Jr. anymore.
What's it gonna be, Tony?
Penta El Zero M.
Now, do you know what pisses me off about this, Tony? He already was. Do you remember when they first started? You probably don't. But they were calling him that anyway. So what changed?
Pentagon Jr. is a lot easier to say.
Yeah, but they don't own Pentagon Jr.
Nah, but I mean, they probably thought that they could get away with it.
I mean, they were for a while.
Yeah, for
I don't like
a solid year.
Penta El Zero M. You call him Pentagon Jr. and just put a fucking E at the end of Gon. Okay, like
Pentagon.
Pentagon, you know, Pentagon.
Or have him Penta space capital Gon. Pentagon Jr.
I guess you just call him Penta. I just don't like the name Penta El Zero M.
Maybe that'll get them to change the theme.
Was it Lucha Bros, Mexicans, Penta El Zero? Like they'll just make it worse, Tony.
Penta El Zero M.
Meet us in the ring.
If he wasn't Penta, he wouldn't be powerful. He's gonna repeat
if
that.
If he wasn't Penta, then he wouldn't have Zero.
I'm not a big fan of that. I am probably not going to refer to him as Penta El Zero M going forward, just because it's a mouthful. I'll probably just say Penta, just because it's quicker. You know, just kind of like speed through the process and get that over with and whatever. But it's interesting that it happened, because that goes to show that still some of that stuff just kind of gets swept under the rug, and then last minute they go, oh crap, we don't own that name. Okay, change it up a little bit. Wonder if that's going to apply to anybody else. Like if tomorrow we're going to find some other news stories and it's going to be like, oh, we can't go by, I don't know, whoever, somebody else on the roster, Peter Avalon.
No, I'm whoever now.
Like Peter Avalon is now Pietro out of Avalon or something, you know, like maybe. I also have to talk about another thing that changed when it comes to AEW is the All Out card in some fashion.
Okay.
Not much.
We got a long one as it is, but I would love to just like break down some of the things that Tony Khan said during the media call, starting with this. So, as you all know, Britt Baker and Big Swole, we're going to have a tooth and nail match on the pre-show, on the buy-in. That has since changed. That has now moved to the main card. Tony Khan did a great sell for it being on the buy-in. He was like, hey, listen, Britt Baker hasn't worked. and I think it's a good match. Maybe it gets people to want to buy the full show. Tony Khan has since decided, hey, I want this on the main card because it deserves to be. Maybe he heard Waco. I don't know. But instead, we're getting Private Party versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who are numbers 3 and 4 of the Dark Order. And because this made me laugh, because only in AEW does this short form make sense. I asked what in the Fightful chat what the replacement match was, and the response I got from former Smark Moment writer Carlos was PP versus 3 and 4, and I just went, and I was just like, okay, yeah, PP versus 3 and 4, got it. Like,
and it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, okay, well, PP's got to be Private Party, and 3 and 4, okay, 3 and 4 from Dark Order. Since there's, wait, what are the numbers now? We've got 3, 4, 5, 10,
9 and 10, I believe.
Where are
I don't
6 and 7 and 8? Is that the whole 7, 8, 9, the whole kind of
Well, 6 is afraid of 7 because 7, 8, 9.
Oh wait, isn't Anna Jay 90 something?
Is she?
Didn't they say something like she was 90 something, 92 or 99 or?
No, I didn't know that.
Let me double check.
It's very possible that they did.
Maybe they have something on that. If you don't have it on Wikipedia, then get on the Wikipedia thing, guys. Let's see. We got 4, we got 5, we got 3. I don't know if we have a 2 and a 1. I'm assuming that Mr. Brady Lee is 1. That doesn't say anything on the Wikipedia page at the very least.
Tony.
Oh, Evil Uno.
Uno is 1.
Yeah. So he's 1, Stu Grayson's 2. Yeah.
They're 3 and 4. Preston is 5. So we needed 6, 7, and 8.
Preston's 10.
Oh, press 10. Sorry.
Because he's press 10, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That's the cheat code, remember. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's the big mystery. Maybe that dude that was that guy that they were recruiting, the overweight guy, maybe he's one of those numbers. Maybe maybe the guy that's always saying join the Dark Order, maybe he's 6 or something,
Yeah,
just have him pop up one day and it'll just be 6. And it's all right, well, there's another number. Maybe that's why they get confused about the rankings too, where it ends up being this one's ranked 3. 3 is 4 and 4 is 8 and 7, 8, 9 and 420, 60, whatever, something. Did you hear that story about Rob Van Dam saying how he got away with the 420 move?
How?
That he told Vince that it was a combination of he and Rey Mysterio's shoes. That they had their 4 feet and the combination of their shoe sizes was a 20.
I love that.
It's
I love that.
Vince probably just I fucking love it.
420, yeah.
And then he walks around and he's I don't know, he's got a size 11 shoes or something like that, and Shane's got size 10s, and he's just wow, look at this, we're 421. That kind of thing. I'm hip with the lingo, that kind of thing. So
I love it. I hope I get to meet that man one day.
Me too. I desperately, this is a thing where, I don't know, this is something to talk about just for the sake of it. You know how I always mention, I talk to you side without being on the podcast and stuff, but for anybody who doesn't know, anybody who hasn't listened to an episode of the podcast before where I've gone a deeper dive into, hey, I've got lots of projects I've never had a chance to do and stuff like that. One of the things that I've always wanted to do, I do not like interviewing people, but I would love to do an interview show. And I forget the names that I had pitched for it, but it was essentially this idea of just cut the bullshit, essentially, where I could just interview people and just say look, come onto this show and we will just cut the bullshit from normal interview stuff. How often do you watch an interview or listen to an interview and you realize that it's just all right, it's feeder questions, they're repeating the same crap. You watch a junket for a movie and they're doing something for Wonder Woman 1984 and it's so we're gonna play a little game in the 80s, name this type of thing or whatever. And then it goes, no, we gotta ask you about what are the difficulties of coming back to a role in a sequel. Okay, well, this time around it's a lot better because this time the characters, and you go, okay, I've heard it in 6 interviews, I don't care. I'd rather
Yeah.
like
You know what
talk
I
to
do for
people.
a living, sir? That's
Yeah.
all I do.
You transcribe all those things. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
basically the
frustrating
same
as all hell.
shit. When Becky was hot, how many times did I have to write, "Oh, Becky Lynch talks about being the man, even though she's a woman." It's okay.
Right.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got it. Like,
How much more fun would it be to be able to have somebody and say, like, look, if you come on my show, I'm specifically going to give you a chance to just air out your grievances, and I'm going to pick your brain about some stuff, and I'm going to have some harder questions and everything. Like, I would love to, for instance, going more on the fanboy side of things, I'd love to talk to Zack Snyder and be like, all right, Zack, like, you got some really good ideas from some of these movies that you did. Why the hell did you think that Lex Luthor should shove a Jolly Rancher in someone's mouth? And for him to be like, oh, it's supposed to be whatever. And I'll be like, no, but it was stupid. And like, do that kind of thing and be like, that's my opinion. Maybe you like it or whatever. Hey, positive. This thing was really cool in this movie. Nobody ever talks about it, but it's pretty neat that like, you've got the whole beginning of the movie starts off with the way that it does. Or, if you're talking to the pro wrestling side of things and to be like, I don't know, pitch me somebody who's like done something that's kind of annoying recently or whatever. I don't know.
uh, I don't know. Talk about say something about Jackson Riker. He came to mind.
Like to talk to Riker and instead of being like, so, the difficulties of being on the main roster instead of being on NXT or something like that, I'll be like, all right, hey, Riker, why are you spelling their name Jaxson?
Uh,
And be like, oh, it's because of whatever. And I'd be like, all right, now we know. Hey, number 2, you really didn't think that tweet was going to upset anybody, right?
but he's doubling down. Are you?
And then just go, okay, well, what are you prepared to do if your job is now taken away from you because that's not the environment that they want you to be a part of? And just do that kind of stuff instead of being like, hey, is it okay if I answer this kind of a question and maybe we beat around the bush for whatever? No, just make it more fun, make it to where people actually want to watch the interviews. Where did we get down on this topic from?
Vince. Vince is. I want to
Oh,
interview
that's what it
him.
was. Because I would love to
420.
talk to Vince and to be like, look, Vince, like, we gotta talk about so much stuff. Like, come on, pal. You gotta realize that people are saying these things about this company, right? Give me your answer. Give me the reason why you think that it doesn't matter what people say about the company. And be like, what is your rationalization, your legit rationalization for X, Y, and Z? And get an actual response instead of this type of, you get the media calls and it's like the people, the most guts that they can have. And I don't blame them either. They have their jobs to do. They have to kind of toe the company line a little bit to try to make sure that they don't lose their jobs and everything. But it's not the same when somebody goes, why do you think that the ratings are struggling? And Vince can go, well, there's a lot of parameters and algorithms and
Well, now,
buzzword
in
this and
fairness, the people asking Vince those questions are investors.
right.
So they're just like, hey, how can I increase my investment here, pal? They're not thinking. That's why there was that one guy on the most recent one who was like, yeah, so you let go of Heyman, and Hunter's doing all right with NXT. You ever think about Hunter? And he just went, that's a lot. And it just kind of just stopped him for a minute because he wasn't prepared for that.
Like, give me more of that, just this idea of somebody being like, I think that this is going to be better for the company and this is kind of ridiculous. What about that? Then as a company owner and a representative and all that, I would just love so much more transparency from some things. I don't want to hear the type of crap where your cable service or whatever is like, due to different circumstances, the prices or whatever, but we really
Talk
care.
about Best Buy.
We can talk about that. Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. Why not? Hey, for anybody who didn't know that this is going on, at the beginning of August, I had a TV, the TV that I use primarily more than anything else. It's actually a second monitor. It's all this other kind of stuff. HDMI input fried on it. And I call them up and I'm like, hey, it's under warranty still for a few weeks. What's going on? How can I fix it? Whatever. Schedule an appointment to come out on the 20th to replace this TV, to fix it and all that. They call me up the day beforehand. They don't actually connect to my phone. They called me up and it rang like twice and I didn't get to it in time. And they called me up 10 minutes. This is the repair service thing. They called me up 10 minutes before they're ending their shift for the day and putting their phones on hold. And their phones, they don't have a voicemail or anything. So they refused to pick up my phone call in response. I called them literally like a minute after they had called me. So it's not like, oh, I waited 20 minutes and it was whatever. I called them the next day. I'm like, hey, when are you guys coming out today? And they're like, oh, we're not. We waited until yesterday to order the part. I'm like, you waited 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, to order the part the day before you were supposed to come out? What the hell? I've been dealing with these people, all these different people from the AIG and Best Buy and all this kind of stuff. At this point, I don't care if anybody knows that I'm disparaging it because I already told them I'm going to just flap my gums and just whatever. Talk to all these people about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, what's going on with replacing this? They have gone and given me all this runaround type of stuff. They're essentially now telling me, long and short of this whole story, that they're going to wait until after the Labor Day sale to approve that I can buy a TV, and then maybe they'll reimburse me for part of it. What the hell kind of service is that? I would love to hear from one of these people. We want to fuck you over. At least then I would have the sensibility of being like, oh, okay, they're just being honest. Instead of hearing, we're sorry to hear that, sir. That does sound like something that would be upsetting. I understand that. I will see that. We will get somebody right on this. Let me transfer you to another department that can then tell you that we didn't tell you any of the information and you have to repeat the whole story all over again. And then once that person comes, they'll tell you, you should have called this person. Okay, well, when you call that person up, they go, you should have called that person, whatever. Nobody wants to do their jobs anymore. Everybody can make this so much easier because what's the catchphrase I've been using these past few years?
It's not
that hard. If you got a warranty for a thing, you replace the thing. If you're not going to replace the thing, give the person the money back. If you're not going to give the person the money back, you're a god-awful company when it comes to that side of things. Like, WWE, we can get into this kind of stuff while we're talking about these. Now, right, I added a thing on here. Liv Morgan is launching a YouTube channel. That's not even really a story anymore because she might not be able to.
That's insane.
All right, later on in the day, after that kind of story, it breaks that there's confusion behind this. Let me talk about that. WWE doesn't really like the idea of people doing the Cameo and the Twitch and all that other kind of stuff anymore. And if you're going by some of these reports and there's potentially some misunderstandings and everything, what it seems like in some regards is that they're saying they own the rights to wrestlers' real names.
Okay, I can debunk that right now.
Here's where I'm gonna set up the thing, and then we're gonna talk about some backtracking for this kind of stuff. It seems like all these people are reporting that WWE is saying that they own people's real names and that they can't do anything like this. And that if they do that, like beyond 30 days from now, that they're going to fine them and they're going to suspend them and release them and that kind of thing. However, doesn't seem like that's necessarily the case. It does seem like it's actually a circumstance where WWE doesn't want people to be able to use their ring names and the properties that they own for these kind of things. So, like Liv Morgan launching a YouTube channel, she would have to call herself on that channel Gianna Daddy. Is it Daddio or?
I think it's I say Daddio. It might be Daddio.
I don't think I've ever said it out loud until right then. I was just about to say it. I'm like, I was about to say Daddio.
I noticed that you got a little confused there, pal.
Yeah, I mean, because I've typed it out a million times by now, but maybe not a million.
I think it just hit you that it's like, hey, Daddio.
Yeah, it's a very like. Is she gonna be the next Cherry with Sim Snuka and Deuce and Domino? Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. I remembered Sim Snuka though for some reason. Just be like, hey, Daddio, like, is she going to be Daddio or whatever? Or is she going to make another name up? Kind of like how Xavier Woods is not Xavier Woods. He's Austin Creed.
He owns Austin
Right. That seems to be the case. And if that's what's happening, then that's not unreasonable.
Okay. Oh boy, where do we start here? First of all, I will say Fightful Select, this is a plug for them, has the full memo. I will not read it on the air yet because Sean works very hard at what he does. I will say that the real name part, bullshit. The memo. I'll say this: the memo said we own your name and likeness, not meaning your real fucking name, meaning the name of the
Right.
character.
Yeah, they own the name of the character. And it's a little bit weirder, of course, if you're like a Brock Lesnar type where your name's Brock Lesnar. But they,
Or like John Cena, where your
yeah,
name is John Cena, but
they
they own
can't,
John Cena for certain aspects of John Cena.
yeah, they can't take like a John Cena and say, we own your name and your likeness, meaning literally your face and your personality and your name. Like you can't own a person. This isn't Community where you can own Subway.
It's a weird thing, but I will say that when I read the memo, now this is me speaking as an individual, when I read the memo, I didn't feel like what they were saying was that unreasonable. Now let's paint the picture here. Let's set the stage. Since COVID, since the coronavirus, we have seen wrestlers en masse join platforms like Twitch, join TikTok. Now, I know that the big one here is Cameo, and a lot of people immediately jump to, well, they don't like that Roman Reigns is getting $500 a Cameo. They don't like that Charlotte's getting $375 or Sasha's getting $350. Like
How much would 3 and 4 and 5 and everybody from Dark Order get, you think?
$3, $4, $5, and immediately it was taken like that. Now I read it as, again, you got to paint the picture. There are people who just go on Twitch and interact with fans in like live Q&A sessions, and it has led to many articles written by guys like myself and Jeremy Lambert and
Yeah, you
everybody
people
in
are
wrestling
ruining this
media.
business.
Everybody in wrestling media being like, hey, AJ Styles said Paul Heyman's a liar and he's full of shit. Or,
Right. This person revealed
hey,
that they've got COVID. This person,
AJ Styles revealed he got COVID. Or, hey, Ember Moon said she's not a big fan of the fact that WWE is totally focused only on Sasha and Bailey.
mhm.
And they're saying, hey, can you not do that? Like, that's the vibe that I get from this whole thing is, hey, can you not go on these platforms and kind of reveal the ins and outs of things, or crap on the industry in a way. But that's just me. Now, as an independent contractor, I'll say this: Fightful and WrestleZone, and you don't pay me, but you can't stop me from making my own YouTube channel, right?
But did you see the contract that you signed that says once you appear on Smark moment, I own the Robert D. Felice name and face and
Oh well, shit. But I'm glad you say it right. But I can't go on. I can't come on here and shit on Fightful and not expect to have issues
right.
with Fightful. I can't expose, hey, you know,
Like
we have
any
the
reasonable scenario
like,
like that would be the case because
yeah, like,
WWE does not want people anywhere under any circumstances saying anything bad about the company, just like any other company. Now,
but
it's a
but
shame that
here's
that's a
the thing.
situation where they have to say stop saying things that are real, like with that kind of thing. Like you shouldn't give people the ammo and hand them the gun and say don't fire that. You know what I mean? But it's at
But
least
and that's
it's
the problem. It kind of it gives me speaking out vibes in the sense of like, hey, we've known that you're shitty for a while, and we're just gonna purge. Like we're fucking done here. Like we're gonna, enough is enough. we're independent contractors. You can't fucking tell me. Kind of like all the way back to the CM Punk thing. Like, you can't fucking tell me that I can't walk out. I'm an independent contractor. I'm done. I quit. There, contract is done. I'm an independent contractor. And I think this might be one of the biggest directions in the unionization of wrestlers. Wouldn't it be weird if after all these years, the thing that got wrestlers to unionize was TikTok?
And birthday wishes on Cameo, and
Yeah, like
like Alexa Bliss being like, I want somebody to be able to pay me $400 for me to tell them I don't want to date them.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? It's the world we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes so far as to say former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang on Twitter. Now, he has said in the past that he grew up a wrestling fan. He has said, he calls his supporters the Yang Gang. He said, if we were a wrestling company, we'd be AEW because we're changing the system. He said this in the past. Tweeted tonight, if I'm not the Secretary of Labor, I'm pretty confident I'll have his or her number to talk about the ridiculous classification of WWE wrestlers as independent contractors while controlling their name and likeness for years, even for something as benign as Cameo. Come on, Vince. You've already deprived the folks breaking their backs for you of health care, security, recovery time, retirement benefits, and fair treatment regarding licenses and royalties. At least let them make a living off their own names. Many of them need it. I grew up a wrestling fan, and it's been sad to see so many of my childhood heroes pass away early. I'd feel better knowing that they and their families were being fairly treated, and I look forward to doing what I can for the next generation of performers because I know how tough it is. And here's the kicker, folks. Vince, you'd better hope your old friend Donald wins because change is in the air and changes are long overdue where your corrupt labor practices are concerned. It would give me great pleasure. What? I don't even know where to go with that because we're talking about a guy who was running to be president. What a year.
What a year.
And by the way, Batista retweeted that. He said, I'm not commenting, but I am retweeting. Hashtag real talk. But by the way, for the guy who was supposed to go in the Hall of Fame this year, I had to look it up. I forgot. He did not go in because he was supposed to, but COVID.
But COVID. I hate that that's a thing, but it's true. Here's another element to this. How surprised would you be if WWE doesn't have the plan in some fashion to say we're gonna make our own Cameo? Like we're gonna
I think
have.
that's 100% what it is.
I think that that's a huge part of this. I think that they want people to not be on their own Cameo thing so that they can
And they want to be on the brand Cameo so they can
right. So they can get a portion of the thing. Like, hey, you go in as like get a message from Big E, and it's because they can't call it Cameo, but they can call it like WWE shout out or something like that. And then it'll be like, for this amount of money.
WWE shout tout.
Shout tout, yeah. Hell, maybe if they still own the tout thing, maybe they go with WWE tout it out or I don't know, whatever. But point being,
shout out, but it's just one word and it's tout, like shout down,
Or shout it all out. These are
things.
Come on.
Oh God, Tears for Fears is a great band. No, aside from the point.
But I think that that's going to be one of those things that they try to do. I don't think that they can try 100%. To get like an infrastructure for like a Twitch type of thing going on. But I think that they look at Cameo.
I think that they just want to do like they did with Twitter, like they did with Facebook. Because if you remember when MySpace was a thing? And well, you probably don't because you weren't like at my age. But like, and they were doing WWE Universe where it was literally a full-blown social media platform. Like it was a full-blown MySpace, but specifically related to WWE. And it failed, obviously. And they just integrated towards other social media years later after the writer stuff. But they tried again with Tout, where they were like, okay, we're gonna do Tout, and that failed. So then they were like, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna be on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll be integrated to these platforms. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to do a WWE Twitch channel, and they're gonna be like, well, you can do this stuff, but you're gonna do it under our umbrella.
You need to schedule times that we're going to do this. That way we can say, well, tune in at this time and you'll see this person play this game and that kind of crap. And which that's not what these people want to do.
They
So
just
that,
want to do their own thing and have fun. Because, like,
right.
one of my favorite things to do, and I don't watch a lot of the Twitch stuff, but I do enjoy like Adam Cole playing Fall Guys with Cesaro and Xavier Woods, because it's like they're just having fun. They're just out there having fun.
That's what makes that kind of stuff interesting, because they're not playing these characters. They're just people hanging out, playing some games, fucking around with their friends.
Now, I do think that they should. I am in agreement with WWE that they should steer away from being like, yeah, and this was the actual plan for Clash of Champions, and then this happened, and by the way, this sucks. And
Right.
I do agree that they should try to steer away from that, because I think there's enough tension as it is.
I don't
But
think the way to go about doing this, though, is to put something out there that gives people the impression
that you're just trying to take away all of their ability to.
Right. False or not, it gave people the impression that they're saying, we own your ass. Don't step out of line. Don't earn money elsewhere and whatever. Now they've got to backtrack and they've got to clarify a lot of those things. And they got to say, like, look, we own the wrestler names, not your real names. Don't do this. Don't do that. That kind of thing, whatever. But the damage is kind of done already. Like, there's people tweeting out there already. I've seen it before, earlier tonight, of people jumping on the hashtags and stuff of saying WWE is more concerned with trying to own every part of their wrestlers than they are Fire and Velveteen Dream. Like, people are looping that in with those kind of things and stuff. And
Yep.
it's not a good look for a company that has had low morale and fired a bunch of people and is in a situation that's not good.
Since like April, since like Mania, they've had nothing but low morale. Probably before then too. But I think in the beginning of COVID, everybody was a little more like willing to see, well, yeah, let's see if WWE can band together and like let's see if we can do Mania. And then I think it starts with the firings and runs through like all the superstars who have chosen to sit out and all the speaking out stuff. And I think it's just been like this dumpster fire. And I do think that Vince McMahon has been long overdue for like a let's target this motherfucker kind of a situation. Because look at the social climate in the world right now is very much old guard out, new lions in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised it's taken this long to have something bubble up to where it's like, okay, maybe this is the thing that's going to get Vince McMahon to quietly retire. And I, to be honest, I don't think that happens. But
No.
But like, look at this year. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
Part of me thinks that this could be one of those things that becomes more like a unionized type of thing, but an even bigger part of me says nothing comes out of that. And instead that maybe a good portion of this is kind of a defensive power move. Like, you gotta be feeling, if you're Vince McMahon right now, the way that Vince is and the way that we know from history. I mean, we've seen documentaries about this kind of stuff. We know that when Vince is feeling like he is being pushed into a corner, he gets very, I am not going to do that. I am very stubborn. I'm going to take charge and I'm Vince McMahon. Damn it. I'm going to whatever, which in a lot of ways is admirable because it means that stubbornness can turn into action and he can pull himself out of things and stuff. But stubbornness is also still stubbornness. And sometimes when, you can approach a dog and the dog's been treated poorly and all you want to do is pet it or feed it and it bites you because it just assumes that it has to attack. I feel like after so much has been happening this past year of Vince being kind of pushed around, maybe part of this is him going, You can't do that. I'm going to push you around. Let me reassert my authority and tell you I own you and that kind of thing. Whether it comes out to something like that or not, it might literally be tell these people that they can't do this kind of shit. I want them to knock that crap off. And if they don't do it in 30 days, I'm going to fine them. And then over the course of the next week, we get some kind of news report that says, all right, level heads have kind of cleared and they've come to this agreement that people can do that kind of stuff as long as they're not using their other names and whatever. And in the grand scheme of things, if they don't say anything that's too crazy or whatever, but maybe if they do say something, they can find them in the future. I think that that's how it's going to work out. I don't think it's going to be some big, like, all the wrestlers unite and they're not going to wrestle unless they get some kind of employee contracts or anything like that.
People are literally tweeting Andrew Yang, what are your thoughts on Hulk Hogan and Velveteen Dream? This could be a very interesting night, depending on if the man actually remarks.
Isn't it weird, just the Yang thing, isn't it weird to talk about how so much politics does get involved with something like WWE?
Xavier Woods tweeted, hey, you could take this one way or the other. But he tweeted Yang Gang, but it was Jimmy Yang Gang. So he kind of got away with it with a tongue-in-cheek thing. But
very much still in support of,
yeah. So
because he should, because up, down, down is something that he's clearly passionate about. And if I were somebody like an Xavier Woods, for instance, at the way that this is going and the way that this company is have a lot of problems going on, and with AEW being a situation where AEW does welcome some of these people in there, if I were like a Big E who's making a lot on Cameo, or an Xavier Woods who's got this whole up, down, down thing, I'd be like, all right, fine then. If I'm under contract, you don't want me to do up, down, down, I guess I'm not under contract anymore. See ya.
Yep.
And be like, you want me to be a wrestler and all that? I will gladly be a wrestler for you, but you can't control every little thing that I do. And yeah, like, I fully agree with WWE. You should not be able to go on Twitch as I don't know, somebody who's like got a gimmicky character, like I'm only thinking of everybody who is using like their real names, but
Bianca. Oh, well, that's her name actually.
Yeah, like that's what. Funny enough, I was like, oh, there's Shayna Baszler. Oh no, she's whatever. Oh, there's R-Truth. Oh, that's kind of the same as the just Ron Killings or whatever. And oh, there's this person, but whatever. But like somebody who's got a completely different name, like a Dexter Loomis, for instance. I don't know why I thought of him. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be able to start a Twitch account of twitch.com/Dexter Loomis and be like, hey everybody, it's Dexter Loomis here, and I'm gonna be playing 7 Ways to Die or whatever it is. What's that? Is that even that game? 7 Days to Die? I think 7 Days to Die. Yeah. Or, somebody like even a Roman Reigns. That's not his real name, Roman Reigns.
Well, he's on Cameo as Joe quotes Roman Reigns on Hawaii. Like,
he should change that name to his name, like that I totally understand, and I fully agree with WWE on, because hey, look, we talk about it all the time. Logic is logic. If somebody's doing something bad, it's bad. If somebody's doing something good, it's good. You don't make excuses for things. You don't support bad things just because you like the person or whatever. I'm not going to crap on WWE for a decision that I agree with in that regard. I would not want a Ruby Riott to be able to go on Cameo as Ruby Riott, like at Ruby Riott or whatever, and say, hey everybody, Ruby Riott here, whatever, like that, and in my character I'm saying this, whatever. No, that's not right. You're using their character and you're making money off of it, and WWE is not getting any money off of it. But if she wants to be herself, Doreen, I think is her name.
I have no idea. I knew her as Heidi Lovelace, which I'm sure is not her name.
And if she owns that name, then she could go by that name. Like, she doesn't have to be like their literal name. Yeah, the Austin Creed thing
goes by Austin Creed. Woods is a genius.
He knew a lot of this kind of stuff before it ended up happening, so he ended up not running into the problem.
The man's working towards a PhD, so what the fuck?
Right, yeah.
I hope so.
But there's like Humberto Carrillo is, according to Wikipedia, Humberto Carrillo.
All right,
so
yeah.
he could be Humberto Carrillo, and they can't I don't think that WWE has any grounds to be like, we own the Humberto Carrillo name. No, you don't, if that's the case. But Dolph Ziggler, he should be Nick Nemeth. Or any other name he wants to go. He can make up a name. He could be Charles Thunderpants.
Ziggler.
Yeah, right. You could even do that. Look at how many times on the indies we've seen, like, one of my favorites was Chris Masters and Luke Gallows on an event as Chris Master and Luke Gallo. I was like, you're really pushing that one. You took the S off. That's it. Ooh, that's calling for like, that's like Dolph Ziggler, but you only use one of the G's in Ziggler, like, or Dolph Ziggler with an AR at the end. But that's where the difference, I think, comes in there. If WWE is just saying, don't besmirch the company and don't use the Kevin Owens name, go by Kevin Steen, then they have every right to. If they're trying to say, we own your names and you can't be Adil Alam Mustafa, you have to just say, no, I'm not doing any of it. Yeah, he might not know the name, though. I don't know. But, like, that's his real name, is Adil Alam. Yeah. So it's like, if that's the case and they're like, you can't be that, then it's like, well, my birth certificate says otherwise. You know what I mean?
Well, Ryback went and fucking changed his name to Ryback. He did the Ultimate Warrior thing.
Yeah.
So, well, we think Jim Hellwig was a fucking lunatic, but he changed his name to Warrior so he could own Warrior.
Yeah, it doesn't take you out the idea. He might have been. I mean, you've heard his promos.
But he was just trying to, get around the trademark shit.
Right.
And
that's well within the law, and it's a little bit quirky, a little bit weird. Maybe I wouldn't do it, but that's not something that you can really complain about at that point. That's where the whole difference comes in, because it's a different story if you're saying the one thing versus if they're going to start going, hey, Mick Foley, Ric Flair, all these legends that aren't doing anything or whatever, you can't have a cameo. Bret Hart, you're on a Legends contract, you can't do that. Like, that'll be a big, big problem, I think, if they start doing that kind of
stuff.
They're
not that dumb, I hope.
I mean, even Bruce Pritchard has a cameo.
That's one of the first things somebody said, though, was, hey, Bruce Pritchard didn't have to get rid of his podcast.
Yeah. And they don't talk about current stuff on there. So that's how they get away with that kind of thing. You can talk about old stuff.
Again, like, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for what they're asking for.
Right.
I think that, again, I'll bring up Speaking Out, where it's one of those things where a lot of it seems small compared to the things that we've heard in the past, but it's one of those, okay, straw that broke the camel's back, we've had enough of this, it's time to change.
Eventually, when you stack things up, it just gets to where you just need one little trigger for something. Sometimes it's that, sometimes it's, for all we know, it could be the type of thing where they decide that they're going to have oatmeal cookies instead of chocolate chip cookies at catering, and then they just go, God damn it, that's it. Like, you know what I mean?
The reality is, and I'll pull back the curtain on my own life a little bit, the things that light the fuse are never the big things. It's always just like, well, it's not a great day, but I'm gonna have some, chocolate ice cream. Motherfucker, they're out of chocolate. It's like, it happens that way. It's the small things that really lead to the explosion.
And the way that people are these days, there's tension is so high. Look at the way that we are acting on this podcast, where we're even just blowing off some steam just by talking to that kind of stuff. And I got a lot of crap I got to do later on. Like, it's 12:30 in the morning right now. By the time this gets edited and uploaded, I'm going to be deep into trying to figure out multiple hours worth of other things that I have to do just to get back to being behind schedule, like that kind of thing. So it's like tension with the COVID stuff and with just the world the way that it is. Everybody's on such high alert that's why you get situations where you find a news story and somebody's like, this person was found a hysterical mess taking a dump in the middle of a parking lot because they were out of chicken McNuggets or something. And it's just like, eventually when you get to where you start doing more and more of these kind of things and you see more and more insanity going on, you go, you know what, I get it. Like, if I went to Wendy's and didn't have some nuggets, then maybe I'd be like, that's it, and just kind of We keep joking about it over and over again, but how much more can we identify with the Frank Grimes character? You know,
But exactly.
where it's just you know, just a
Ah!
lobster, like just like. So this is the type of thing that if WWE does try to push these buttons, it is the wrong time to do it, because these people working for the company know that they're the lifeblood of this company. Like, the company literally cannot do shows without the roster. It's a pro wrestling show. You need pro wrestlers. As much as
CM
WWE
Punk's
doesn't want
leaving. What are
to,
they gonna do? Fire everybody?
right? They can't just rehire everybody. They don't even have the ability to rehire everybody the way that they normally would, because they can't bring people in because of the whole COVID thing. Like, now would be the time that if people want to make any kind of moves, that they would have to do that kind of stuff. But the downside to it is the people that are going to have to make those big moves are going to have to be willing to risk losing their jobs. And now it's not the time to be risking losing your job in a lot of ways. So they're going to push each other back and forth, but it's, if you're WWE and you're saying don't use your character names, don't talk crap about the company, then that makes sense. If you're WWE and you're saying we own your real name and you can't do any of these kind of stuff, you can't even be Dakota Kai and trying to raise funds for charities on your Twitch.
And you know what? And to your point of saying people took it the wrong way, people immediately started saying that, like, oh well, Mia Yim is trying to raise funds on her Twitch, and like
Right.
you're trying to take good things away from people, and it's not. It's I don't think it's
Hopefully
that.
that's not the case.
Yeah,
Because
and
imagine
you
the
know what?
press release that comes out if they go, "God damn right we are." Like, then it's gonna be like, wow. That at that point, then you got to start wondering: is Vince trying to sabotage the company?
Goddamn right we are.
Because then it starts getting into, okay, this is not just a few mistakes. This is either premeditated murder of this company, or you got to call into let's do a change of the board of directors going on here or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, then you're actively trying to ruin the company.
Yeah.
Not just bad creative, not just, well, we're trying to do what we're trying to do here and maybe we're making some mistakes or whatever. If you start getting into people saying like we own people and we don't want these charity type things, we don't care and whatever and all that, then somebody's going to have to go, I don't know if we should have Vince McMahon in charge. I don't think if these people should be in charge. I think we need to rehaul with this and stuff. But you and I are both in agreement. It seems like it's the name thing. And
Yeah.
just don't talk about the original plan was this. And I thought that would have been a better storyline or whatever while you're playing a video game or.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, it still kind of feels like you're stifling them, and why can't we be open? Everybody knows, because we kind of made that argument way ago yesterday. Whereas, like, I think Tony Khan should talk to media like that, but I also like I wouldn't want to see Brandon Cutler playing Dungeons and Dragons on Twitch and then being like, "Fucking hate that I signed with this company and they make me lose all the time." Like it'd just be weird.
If I were working for the company, like, I mean, let's put it in terms of us. If I were to click on, a WrestleZone stream and I heard that you were saying like, dipshit over at Smark Moment, Tony, I hate that fucker or whatever, I'd be like, yo, the hell,
Exactly. Like,
So I get it. Like, I totally get
exactly.
that.
That's why I get it too, because I'm like, yeah, I work for a bunch of different places. I know I can't like do that, and how shitty would I be, kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's all where that comes into the type of thing that everybody should be doing with everything in the world these days. Explain yourselves to where people can understand you, talk things over, have a discussion, keep it civilized, communicate, be reasonable, be logical, be rational, be willing to accept a loss to get a win. And things are not that hard.
Compromise. Yeah,
Relationships, it's friendships, it's whatever. You talk to somebody and you go, oh, you made all the food today, well, I'll clean the dishes. And somebody goes, oh, well, I'll do both of them today. Or then you go, okay, well, I'll do both tomorrow. It's just like, it's not that hard.
we're too logical for this.
Too logical for this friggin' world sometimes, So Tune in, fix the podcast. Best Buy, give me a new goddamn TV. Just because I shouldn't have to pay you to fix a thing under warranty. BS. And hey, look at this. Rey Mysterio is getting a cartoon.
Yeah.
He's getting a cartoon for Cartoon Network Latin America
I don't
TV
like
series.
Cartoon Network Latin America. I want this cartoon. I want it in English. I'm not being, fine. I get that he's a legend in Mexico. Love all that. This better be in English. This better be like.
And it's like for the matter, like you're not saying this better be in English because you're like it's in America, but no, you want it in English because you want to watch the show. Like
I want to be able to watch the show and understand the show. Like
yeah.
I love cartoons. If you have learned nothing about me, I think Callum has once said on the air, I would rather read SpongeBob books than anything of actual substance. I'm like a giant child. I love cartoons. 90% of what I consume to this day is animation. I want to watch this show.
I would definitely check it out at some point. I think that there could be some fun stuff to it. It's somebody teams up with Rey and they fight evil people and stuff.
The forces of evil or some shit.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe that'll be kind of fun. Maybe it'll be one of those stupid things that's fun. Maybe it'll be one of those fun things that's fun. Maybe it's going to be one of those things for little kids that if I were 5, it'd be my favorite thing in the world. And now it's just not speaking to me, but I'll check it out. It's a pro wrestling thing. It's a cartoon or whatsoever. Oh, by the way, another story. Big Show got canceled.
I was
forgot to add that in there.
To that too.
Never saw it, so not surprised. That based off of the clips that I had seen.
We still haven't watched the main event. If you want to donate to the Patreon and make us watch that Netflix movie.
I haven't seen the main event. Haven't seen the Big Show. Still haven't seen Ready to Rumble. Still haven't seen No Holds Barred. So those are all things that could be on Mr. Smark.
Right, hold on a minute. Hold on. So there's somebody out there who wants to just have us shoot the shit. We know that we need to watch Starrcade 97, Ready to Rumble, No Holds Barred, and the main event. I'll skip the Big Show. I don't think we need to watch that. But, we need to get some fun in here, Tony.
We really do. We need more fun in this world. And maybe the Rey Mysterio show is going to be fun. We don't know when it's going to come out, how far along in the process they're making. It might have just literally been like given the green light today or something like that for all we know. But neat. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? It sucks. Then they don't do another one. It's not like it's going to ruin Rey Mysterio's name or something. And WWE doesn't seem to have anything to do with this. So I guess we're going to get some kind of cease and desist where it's like, hey, Rey Mysterio, we own Rey Mysterio.
Well, they don't own Rey Mysterio Jr.
Right. Maybe that's how they get around it.
That's absolutely how they get around it.
Who's that jumping out the sky?
R-E-Y
Mysterio. Because we have to bleep his name. Yeah, that's another story. I want to backtrack for this because I just realized I didn't really talk much about it. Was the changes to the AEW card. I forgot we didn't give our predictions for it. I mean, technically speaking, we don't really need to give a prediction, but it's Private Party versus 3 and 4.
Private Party.
Private Party wins. Isn't it kind of a little bit ridiculous that Private Party is in a match to, if they win, then they get a match on the card, and they lose, and then they get a match on the card?
They didn't get on the card. They got on the pre-show.
That's bullshit.
They got on the pre-show. Listen, it's okay.
Why aren't they fighting SCU then? Why is it 3 and 4?
Join the Dark Order.
That's the answer. They should just be in a Kool-Aid match or something like that. Like Alex Reynolds keeps bringing the Kool-Aid around all over the place. John Silver is the best part of ETA, and just kind of play around with that or something. We got the Tooth and Nail match. We got the Mimosa
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
The shot stuff, Private Party. I think we'd have some fun with a Kool-Aid match.
Shots of Kool-Aid mixed with something. There you go. Do it. Come on, AEW. That is something though. That's just sort of
match after the Mimosa Mayhem match.
Like they decided to switch that around, so now the Tooth and Nail match isn't a part of the buy-in, which means it's going to be on the main card, which defeats the purpose of what Tony Khan had said, where he said the reason why they were doing that is because the live crowd should have the live matches and whatever. So within a day of booking all this other kind of stuff and all that, it's thrown out the window.
Probably responding to the criticism of it not being on the main card.
Also means that this is going to go longer.
Or well, no, it's pre-taped.
No, I mean, you add a match onto it, the whole
Oh, the
show
show
is going
is
to be
gonna be
longer.
longer.
Yeah.
Eh,
So we're going to be doing our post
maybe
show
they
at
cut
2 a.m.
5 minutes off of Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks.
I'd be okay with shaving a couple minutes off of almost every match if they were going to end up trying to go 20 something minutes for each one. I think that's probably not going to be the best booking for the time frames of everything.
Tony Khan also said Double or Nothing was better than Mania. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember too much about Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing was good. And it was a better, I'll say this, Double or Nothing was a better pro wrestling show in that environment.
Definitely, because the Daily's Place thing is just a better environment in general.
I do think that, I enjoyed Moxley and Brody Lee, and I enjoyed Stadium Stampede. He knows what he was doing when he made that comment. And he even alluded to it that, oh, I want to,
Poke the bear.
it's going to be the takeaway line from the press conference, but he knew what he was doing. I don't know if it was better, but it was definitely equal to. I'll say that. It was too long. I hope tomorrow night's not as long.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, overall, probably Double or Nothing is the more entertaining show to watch than WrestleMania, but different circumstances and stuff too. They had more time. They could actually have some bit of a crowd going on a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, the switch to the All Out card, it was annoying for me to have to rearrange a bunch of things and stuff, but you did get a little bit more confirmation now too that it's false count anywhere for the tooth and nail match. No
Yeah,
DQ, so.
but I mean, when you're fighting in a dentist office, where the fuck? Of course, it's
Yeah.
supposed
At least that means that there should be a fall, though.
laughing gas. I'm looking forward to this more than most cinematic matches.
Or are you gonna get some kind of Isaac Yankum tease?
You know what? Independent contractor Glenn Jacobs, get in there. Do the thing, Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, that we talked about. So we're both going private party wins, obviously.
Yeah.
Just no reason for them to lose. I'm not all that into it because the match has no substance. I hope it's not just here's 20 minutes of wrestling that can only be really, it would be 10 minutes on a dark episode. Doesn't need to be long. Here's an unfortunate thing to mention. Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens passed away. I never met him, never worked with him, but as a fellow wrestling website person, shout out to
So
not
Casey,
shout out, condolences to his family and all that other kind of stuff. Like obviously that's not good news. Hate reporting on these kind of things, but
well, here's the beauty that springs out of it. The amount of love. And for those who don't know, I'll backtrack for a minute. Squared Circle Sirens is like the premier pro wrestling, women's wrestling news source.
it's the thing that champions women's wrestling more than pretty much anything out there. It's like them and Diva Dirt are the two that are.
And I would argue that Casey had so many insights and was just on the ball with women's wrestling. And the few times that, he did break something and it turned out not to be true, he was always so apologetic and, understanding. And Casey, I wish I had gotten to have a full conversation with Casey. But I will say, I always saw the impact he had on social media. And when I heard that he passed, the outpouring of love from every corner of the wrestling globe,
Including the wrestlers themselves, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm talking from fans, from Charlotte Flair said, "Rest in peace, Casey." Carmella, Lita, the amount of people who just showed love for this person, it was a beautiful thing to see. And I believe Casey, rest in peace, Casey, was the legitimate number 9 trend in the country.
Wow, really?
Yesterday. Yeah, just a really sad story, but like a beautiful thing to see the wide impact that he had on the world. And I know he was battling some health problems, so I hope that his family takes solace and I think now that struggle is past and it was just beautiful. And they put up a GoFundMe and it reached its goal in an hour and then tripled it in like two.
That's
I
nice
mean,
too.
it's
I
just a
didn't know about that.
beautiful thing. So yeah, rest in peace, and yeah, let's keep making positive impacts in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never worked with Casey, never did any crossover stuff. Always wanted to try to figure out something to do, like some kind of little partnership or something. Because when you see somebody doing some good work, you want to be a part of it in some fashion. Never got a chance to, but even admiring that work from afar is still just wanted to toss it out here for the hot tags, just so people knew and get more eyes on that kind of situation and everything. But unfortunate always to report on those kind of things. Smark moment, of course, gives our condolences to everybody a part of the friends and family and everybody with Squared Circle Sirens and stuff. Talk about TV shows. So we still didn't talk about that. I think that might be the last hot tag here. We're, I don't know, an hour and a half into this.
Oh,
I
we're
think
actually making good time
we actually are.
considering.
Has it felt like it's been a little bit longer? It feels like that to me.
No, like you know what? We're making some pretty good time because we've had some doozies.
Let's talk Dynamite. Anything that happened on Dynamite you think's worth diving into?
Now, people were a bit resentful of the lack of wrestling in the second hour, and Tony Khan said that 48 weeks a year, all I care about is wrestling. 4 weeks a year, when we had the go home shows for the big pay-per-views, the second hour is going to be mostly story driven, and I respect that. I understand that. Uh, Thunder Rosa and Serena had a match, pretty good match. Um, my takeaway was the Jake Snake Roberts, which Tony talked about at late on the
The
predictions
previews,
podcast,
yeah.
and I thought it was good. I like MJF being fucking aggressive. I've been talking a lot about MJF lately, Tony. I don't know if you know that.
Hmm.
But I like him being aggressive, and Mark Sterling paying tribute to Jimmy Hart. I enjoyed. That's why the gear looked like somebody vomited on it. But,
Is that what happens when you vomit baked potatoes and baked beans?
yeah,
Hmm.
it just turns into a red, white, and blue startup mess.
I'll take the baked potato,
But
not
you
the
know
baked
what,
beans.
Tony? The biggest takeaway from Dynamite was, of course, that tonight now, because it's past midnight, they want to entertain us.
Let us entertain you. Yeah.
We want to see you. We want to entertain you. And you know what, JR? You will see me, and I hope you entertain me.
I really hope so. Man, because, I mean, I'm going to be tired going into All Out. So I hope that I don't, at the end of the day, tonight when we're doing the post show, I hope I'm not just kind of like, it never fucking ended and it needed to end and I'm so annoyed and whatever. I don't know when I'm going to get any sleep, if I will, that kind of thing, but we'll see how that works out. Monday Night Raw, we had Keith Lee and Randy Orton and Seth Rollins in a number one contenders match. We know we're getting Randy Orton again against Drew McIntyre. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't like. I'm just gonna say it. I'll say it every fucking time until he takes his top off. I don't like that they're making Keith Lee wrestle wearing a top. He's not obscene just because he's a little big, guys. You had fucking Yokozuna with one side of him that weighed more than my entire body. Like, stop it.
Retribution's just on Raw now. How convenient for this chaotic group of rebel rousers that they have decided that they'll wait patiently for their segments and that they will only appear on Monday Night Raw.
Well, hold on. All right, I get it. I get why people are mad about this.
Because it's lame, that's why.
Okay, all right, fine. But like, Raw needs something. SmackDown's got a really good angle with heel Roman Reigns. I can't wait to talk about that, by the way. But Retribution's only on Raw, and that's okay. Like, it's okay.
Raw's got
And by
Raw
the way,
Underground. They never should have done this Retribution thing.
And by the way, Meltzer didn't report it first. John Pollock of Post Wrestling did. I'd like to give credit to the places that reported it first. Um, it's okay that they're just on Raw, Tony. We'll live. SmackDown right now has Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns.
I just think that this whole angle, they should just stop it. Just cut the
But
losses.
if they stop the whole angle, how are we going to get around not doing brand versus brand at Survivor Series when we do WWE All Stars versus Retribution?
Oof. Please no.
Oh, well, the Nexus was only on Raw. How come they weren't picking and choosing?
Was there a brand split then?
Yeah.
Trying to remember which years or which.
Me too, pal.
And then we got the core. That was a mess.
That's when the Nexus was split, and then they moved everybody to SmackDown.
Even then, though, I mean, you can kind of like they were like, okay, these are the Nexus. It's a big group, and they're attacking people. This is like we don't know who these people are, and they're attacking WWE. Like they could be. They're not positioning them as being wrestlers. They're positioning them as being
off the street, essentially.
Right. So that's like even better to be like maybe they just do crazy stuff, but they conveniently never attacked NXT, and they're not going to go after SmackDown anymore. They'll wait until like segment 3 or whatever they need to do, and then they'll interfere once per night, and then they'll just go like, kind of like the it reminded me a little bit of the thing from South Park with the Mongolians, where it's just sort of like every once in a while the Mongolians pop up and they're just like, "Bah!" and then they just leave. It's just sort of like
the only thing I think
goddamn Retribution
need to do is make them the biggest threat on Raw.
They got to do something
because they're vastly moving them down to like, all right, so they're just kind of interfering with the middle of the card stuff, and I think the problem is we need a strong babyface. That I think that's why they're not doing it, because they need a strong babyface that's gonna like, all right, let's rally the fucking troops. They don't have John Cena. It's in the Nexus beating the shit out of the top guy in the company. Because they don't have a top guy. They had a guy in Roman, but he's currently the top heel.
What other stuff we got going on? Do you know Demi Burnett wants to be a wrestler now?
Yeah.
We'll see. Charlie Caruso had Asuka in the ring. She
can't act for shit.
No, she can't.
Charlie Caruso's pretty good. She can act.
I dig Charlie. She had Asuka in the ring and basically said, "We don't know what's happening with the women's championship." And Asuka's like, "Me neither." And then Natty
I like
and
that Asuka's whole thing is like, "Well, damn it, give me match. I want to fight." Like,
yeah, like a champion. Seems like she's probably gonna fight Natty and Mickey in a triple threat at Clash Champions.
Why can't Lana be in a fatal 4-way?
Not at that point, then you got Lana against Natty.
They can work together. How many times have the Iconics not been in a fatal 4-way for the NXT title?
I don't remember.
Well, it happened, Tony.
Well, it wouldn't happen anymore because the Iconics are no longer a thing.
And that's what you call a segue, kids.
Yeah, they lost a match against the Riot Squad, and they had split. So Billy Kay and Peyton Royce are now going to get the treatment that we normally get when somebody splits from their tag team, where they say, we really want to push this one person, and in a few months when we decided not to push that person anymore, and the two of them did not end up going anywhere in the singles division, and we lost all their credibility, now we have no choice but to put them back together. And now that we no longer think that they're worth splitting up, when we put them back together, the tag team is going to be worse. So that's the optimistic way of looking about things,
right?
Yeah, that's basically what happened with them.
I liked the Raw Underground segment with them, where
that was fun. Yeah,
because Peyton's facial expressions of just like, oh my god, what did I just do to my friend? And ooh, like, I gotta get out of here.
You wanna know something I didn't like about Raw Underground?
Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir.
What the hell was Marina Shafir wearing?
You know what? I kind of love that Marina Shafir has a little sun hat on or something, and she's just like fucking people up with the sun hat on.
I like that. if it's gonna lead to a character thing, cool, because they need characters. But I was not expecting that. It was just sort of out of nowhere. I'm like, did
Do
somebody
you think
just
they're going to
wrap
be on Raw?
Shafir in
Did
a
they
picnic
announce that they're going to be
table
on
or
Raw
something?
Underground next week?
I don't think that they announced anything. I think that they remember we were supposed to get that whole Ivar and Ziggler thing. I think that they botched a whole lot of Raw Underground and they don't know what to do with it.
I think what we saw from Marina and Justman might have been partially taped, because Justman did have a match taped last week that they didn't air because they decided fuck it.
That's the thing. Iconics, you're in a situation where you've got so few tag teams now, and you're just splitting up more of them. Not to say that I would have wanted to see 100 more matches between the Riot Squad and the Iconics, but it's a little annoying when WWE, they do this in a weird way. I don't know why this is the case, because this doesn't make any sense, but so often when something is like, nothing happens in WWE, and then they wake up one morning and they decide everything has to happen, and then you're just like, oh my god, now I got to do a whole bunch of like adjustments and everything. And so often in WWE, when the tag team divisions are running out of tag teams, they tend to go, let's split up more of them.
Dude, they've split up so many tag teams.
What is the rationalization behind that? Like, that's kind of like saying, I mentioned earlier, I don't know when I'm going to go to sleep, when I'm going to wake up, if I'm going to get a whole lot of sleep tonight or anything. I mean, I'm not going to get a whole lot of sleep. It's me. But, you know, if I'm looking at like, I hope I can get 3 hours of sleep today, you know, the thing I'm not going to do is like make sure I stay up, you know, like go against it. Who do we have for Baszler and Jax at this point that they're going to fight?
Ruby and Liv.
And
Lana and Natty.
That's it.
I'm trying to think.
Unless you start tagging up, like Carmella comes back and starts a tag team with Naomi.
Well, there's a mystery chick. She can tag up with somebody.
Let's bounce around. Let's talk about that. Because why not? They aired on SmackDown this woman's heels. She's walking. That's it. We don't know anything more about it. This is clearly Brandy Rhodes and it's AEW heels, right?
I have a couple thoughts about it. So clearly it's Oksana, right? So my immediate thought was Peyton Royce.
Wow.
And then you do the dumb thing where you start to overanalyze, right?
Peyton Royce didn't come to my mind at all.
Well, I just figured repackaging, yada yada.
I thought Chelsea Green.
Oh my god, yes. I totally forgot about her.
Because she was supposed to be coming up to the main roster. It doesn't seem like they're going to do anything with her previous gimmick, because her previous gimmick was a part of the Robert Stone brand, and then it didn't happen.
And she's a bougie bitch, too, isn't she? That's her whole gimmick, isn't it?
I kind of figured that she might be the go-to. But
then there's this, Tony, and here, it just work with me.
Don't say Emelina.
No. Tennille just returned to Impact, so that's not happening. The person had heels and a fur coat, and the lights were orangey and purple. At first, my first thought when I saw the purple was, oh god, they're not moving Dream out now, are they? But no, because then you see the heels. What if it's Eva Marie?
So what's the orange and purple?
She had the red hair, now she got the purple hair. All purple. Everything.
You know that there's somebody out there too, which is funny. One of those like foot freak people that are probably like, I can recognize them feet anywhere.
You know what? I thought about being like, all right, y'all, it's your moment. Yeah. Whose feet are these?
Somebody out there is just kind of like, I can recognize that ankle. You know, look at them gams. That kind of.
Look at the curvature of that bone. I recognize that foot anywhere. Like,
There's someone out there that's probably sitting there just going, "Well, that's very clearly Aaliyah," or like one of those kind of things. Like maybe even Marie. Yeah, I mean, she has said that she's been
I'd be
interested in
down
a
for it.
return.
I d- I pitched that to somebody and they said absolutely not. So I don't know, but like,
I wouldn't really want it, but I could see that being a scenario.
and she just uh, commented on that tweet and said legs for days. I mean, she's clearly stirring the pot, but you know,
I mean, if we're breaking it down in one way, like we're looking at the roster on SmackDown. Let's just say it's somebody from SmackDown. Obviously, I'm
uh,
gonna rule out
Naomi,
like
because legs.
Bailey, then Naomi, obviously, yeah, too. Sasha Banks, Tamina. It's not gonna be Nikki Cross. It's not gonna be Mandy, because then that would be a little bit weird for the character to turn into just like a bitch again right
I
afterward.
thought about Sonya.
Huh, that'd be kind of interesting. Um, maybe all of this is, which I would be disappointing, is just this is like the new look that Lacey Evans is going to
I'll be
have.
so fucking pissed.
I could see it maybe being the case with Carmella too.
Carmella can be a bitch. I'll get down with that.
We don't need any more heels though. We're running out of baby faces. We have Naomi.
AEW's doing great with heels. What do you mean?
Obviously, I don't think it's going to be Alexa, because that would be really weird for them to change the character twice like
Well,
that.
she's doing other things now.
Right. Um, Dana Brooke, don't think so. So I would think if it's going to be somebody who's already on the SmackDown roster, it's either Lacey or Carmella.
Yeah, I would say my top picks would be, if I had to give top three, I like your Chelsea Green idea. I like the idea that maybe they're just gonna turn and move Peyton Royce, and I'll say even Marie. I would not mind that.
Looking at the people from NXT, Chelsea's the only one that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Like, wouldn't make sense to bring up Casey Catanzaro in that kind of fashion, or Mia Yim with that kind of character. Scarlett's not going to do that. Santana Garrett, I don't think so. They're not going to take Tegan Knox and be like, "Hey, that's your character." Like that's not.
Oh yeah.
So I'm leaning towards Chelsea, and I guess we'll find out soon enough, or maybe we won't. Maybe
I'm
it'll be
always
Head
down for a
Benson.
good vignette, though. I'll say that. Always down for a good vignette. I love character development like that.
It's more interesting when something like that happens than when they just put up a graphic that says like so and so is going to be making their return or their debut.
Hey, maybe that's Jackson Riker's gimmick.
Maybe. It'd be funny as hell if they pan up, they show like another vignette, they pan up from the woman, and it's just like him holding like mannequin legs, and he's just kind of like, "What? This is what I
No more. You remember me now, huh?
this is what I do now." Kind of thing. What else we got going on here that we went through? Rollins was mad at Buddy Murphy. Raw Underground had Titus O'Neil. He beat some people up and then he lost to
I
Riddick
kind of like
Moss.
that. You know,
Send him to NXT.
I'm down for it.
R-Truth won the 24/7 title again. That doesn't even matter at this point. Street Profits were against Andrade and Angel Garza. I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh well, that and
Fuck's sake.
Retribution happened.
Adam Pearce is doing a lot these days.
He's the de facto authority. Just name him the commissioner. Just do it.
Commish. And they did the whole thing with Angel Garza taking Demi away and telling that it was for her safety, and then as soon as he sees Retribution again, he bolts. I thought that was kind of funny.
He ran away from her so funny. He did that very well. I'm sure he's done that once or twice.
Let's talk about NXT. We had the Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Legado del Fantasma 6-man street fight. Candice LeRae beat Casey Catanzaro. She wants to take her friendship with Tegan Knox and repair that. And we got a new NXT champion crowned next week.
Well, hold on. Let's really talk about NXT, because for the first time in almost a year, Tony, I fucking watched the show.
How do you like the Tuesday thing?
I love it, and let's talk about it because it's going to happen.
Oh, it's totally going to happen.
going to happen, and I love it.
You know what? And this is, I'm going to go back to a different point I mentioned before. It's totally going to happen, and they're totally going to give you business speak about why. They're just going to be like, this is the better night for this is whatever like that. Instead of just going, look, we're not beating AEW, and we figured, fuck it, Tuesdays, why not?
Maybe they will, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll be like, look, we were doing a thing. USA didn't like the fact that we were competing, and Tuesday works out better for the wrestling fans. So the wrestling fan win. That'll be their corporate speak. The wrestling fans win because now you don't have to choose.
I don't know about wrestling fans win. I think that they might even try to market it as this is better for our taping schedule. I think they're going to just
I
make
think
up
you're just
something.
determined to have them do some ridiculous corporate speak.
Yeah, I don't expect them at all to say we're giving up and we lost. I think they're going to do, I think that they would flat out say complete lies that everybody sees right through than to say that. Like they would, wouldn't shock me if instead of saying something like AEW is beating us in the ratings and we decided that we need to move to another night because we're getting killed with that and this is our way to stay relevant, it would be like, yeah, you're probably more likely to say something like Santa Claus told me to do it. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, all right, they're just getting away with it, you know? But it's going to happen. They're going to move that to Tuesday nights, which sucks for Impact.
Does it though? Impact Access owns Impact and they own the network. Move Impact to Thursdays. Don't be a bitch.
Move it to Wednesdays and be like, we're now in the war.
That. You know what? Do it. Yeah. Just
Split
I
the
would
show
laugh
up
at
and
that.
do half of it during Monday Night Raw and half of it during AEW. We're fighting both of you, goddammit. Still recording only one thing a week, but
So here's the deal. I watched NXT. I love that 6-man tag.
it's
I
fun.
enjoyed it. I enjoy Breeze. I enjoy Dango. I enjoy Scott and
Did you
Legado del
enjoy
Fantasma.
losing points from Bronson Reed to Timothy
You
Thatcher?
know what? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Um, you got me distracted now. About Imperium, they came in. They got dived on. I like Legado del Fantasma. I would move Santos Escobar into Zelina's stable and just 3 great looking dudes, hot looking chick. It works. Don't fight it. You know what I mean? But great stuff here. I did not enjoy losing points to the Bronze Breed, Tony. No, I did not. And then Austin Theory coming out here doing a running bulldog, kind of, not really, and throwing Bronson Reed in the ring. I did enjoy Bronson Reed's new entrance. I don't like the name The Colossal, but maybe we're one step closer to Massive Dave Mastiff.
Oh, then it would have
But
to be something like Big Man Bronson or something.
what did I call him? What did I call him? Brontosaurus Reed? Did I say I
Yeah,
said that to you?
Brontosaurus Reed.
Why aren't they calling him Brontosaurus Reed? I like the little thing. More importantly, Tony, long game. He's gonna win some belts because they're repackaging it. That's a good thing. Um, and let's talk about this fucking Iron Man match.
60-minute Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match. It goes, obviously, 60 minutes. And we end up with a 1-1 to 2-2 tie, where it's Adam Cole and Finn Balor are the two that have tied. So William Regal comes out pissed as all hell, which I thought was funny, which is like, really, he shouldn't necessarily be mad that people tied in a scenario where it's like, they didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, no, he's mad because he's like, "Fuck! I promised a winner, and now I got to do this shit."
well, it's still kind of funny to me because it's like, he gets more mad about that than he does about like, you stepped in and you ruined my main event. You attacked this guy and that's whatever. And it's like, I was tie, goddamn son of a bitch. Like, you know, that kind of thing. Where it's like, but he says next week we're getting Balor versus Cole, and that will be what determines the championship. Of course,
So
they didn't specify that it's like no DQ and stuff like that. So how much you would have bet? That'd be kind of funny if they did that, where it's like now it's a no contest. They both got attacked or something. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna crown a champion, but it'd be kind of funny.
Um, I was so worried because the spoilers came out that it was going to be a tie, and I'm like, oh fuck, they're going to do Gargano and Ciampa. My brain is preconditioned to like they're just going to do it, And it's okay, but they're eventually gonna have to do a Hell in a Cell or something. Like they need to do something else. And I I didn't hate it. I fucking hated the commercials though.
Yeah, that really hurt a lot of it for me. They should have done
Yeah.
one of those limited interruption, we'll only just plug things and not cut away kind of a thing.
Yeah. I didn't like the picture in picture. It kept breaking the flow of the match. Like you're trying to watch this match and then it's like vaping is terrible for you. Oh fuck. Okay. Like, oh, all right. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Did you see the vaping commercial tonight?
No, I didn't pay any attention to that.
Oh my god. Commercial aired during SmackDown that I thought was advertising TLC. They're showing people go through ladders and stairs and chairs and tables, and then they'd show clips of Hell in a Cell. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's Kofi Kingston showing a girl, if you think metal is dangerous on the outside, imagine what it's doing to you on the inside. I went, what the fuck? It's an anti-vaping commercial? I was like, okay. Random. I thought they were building towards the pay-per-view. But anyway, commercials suck. NXT needs people back because they're dying without their audience. To me, anyway. I always get the vibe of like, I miss the fans. Because the people aren't doing it. You know what I mean? And I thought it was a great match. Of course it was. It was four of the best wrestlers ever in an Iron Man match. I just wanted to see more of it full screen.
Yeah. Not going to go down as my favorite Iron Man match of all time or anything like that, but this was their way to do that to make it feel like it's special. So they are doing the whole let's try to make two things out of one kind of thing to try to get next week's ratings, whatever. I get it. It's a frustrating thing though. Here's where the argument comes in. I don't think that anybody would have an issue with this if this wasn't something that they did all the time. Like, you can tell when WWE is stalling for the sake of stalling. This could have been to crown a champion. They didn't want that to be the case because they wanted to have some kind of a draw for the next week, and they thought, let's split the difference. I understand it, and I don't think it's a bad idea. The problem is, when you do those things, it should be rare. So that way people don't feel like they're getting cheated. It shouldn't just be, let's do Apollo Crews against MVP again because we want to do Bobby Lashley against Apollo Crews a week later, and we need something to fill the gap in the meantime. That's where the problem is. When you don't do those, and when you do one of these things every couple of months, then it becomes, okay, well, you know what? You're splitting the difference, but that's fine. Anybody who's upset about it, I totally get it. I totally understand. This particular example, I'm not too upset about. It's just that it's another straw on the camel. You know what I mean?
Well,
Speaking of camel, I need a drink.
oh, go ahead there, you thirsty
Here's
camel.
here's some gulps here. I'm a loud gulper, I know it.
Some ASMR for you guys. Let's just listen in.
Some good H2O.
Great ASMR. We're gonna start a podcast. Tony drinking water.
Just be like, hey everybody, gulp. Do that whole crab where you like moving crap. I don't even know if that picked it up. I'm terrible at ASMR.
Hydrated Mangoes is now the name of this podcast.
Juicy mangoes, something like that. What should we leave? How should we make this? Drop a comment below.
Weird saying juicy mangoes.
What should the ASMR about me drinking be? Drop a comment. Give us a name.
But so I enjoyed the Iron Man match. I don't enjoy commercials. I think they should put this match on the network commercial free. I think they should put it on YouTube commercial free. Why not? You put everything else on YouTube.
Yeah, why not? Put it on the WWE cameo that they're gonna make. WWE shout out.
Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Yeah, shout out.
Anything else from it? Well, you know, let's talk about this. Who do you think's winning? Finn Balor or Adam Cole? I'm still going Finn.
I'm still going Finn, but I'm officially on team never bring up the Undisputed Era. Please, they'll only do well in NXT. Please, they will change something significant to who they are as a group. Please don't bring them up.
They'll be
Like,
like, we love this Undisputed Era group. Can they not be called the Undisputed Era anymore? And can they change their theme song? And can they not do
and can they wear
moves?
long tights? And can they, like,
They're also
not.
now cosplayers. That's their gimmick. One's going to be Robin
Yeah,
Hood,
and
and one's
can
going
they
to be
not be in sync with each other and, like, act like real friends?
Bobby Fish, shave the mustache. Kyle O'Reilly, wear a boot to the ring where you can't walk. Like, just gonna do
Yeah,
random.
yeah. Kyle, we're gonna change your name. You're not Kyle O'Reilly, like Kylo Ren. Like,
Yeah.
we need to own it, Kyle. Sorry. Bobby Fish. You're not Robert Trout. You're not.
Be like,
Adam Cole.
Fish is too lame of a name. You need to get some other kind of food. You're now Bobby Steak.
Yeah, steak is a manly.
And then if that were to be the case, then I'd be like, well, I guess I know what I'm writing for the end of the world. It's just gonna be there's a whole lot of steaks in this match. Oh, okay. We also know we're getting a steel cage match next week. Rhea Ripley against Mercedes Martinez.
So I just want to throw Raquel Gonzalez in there and just let the three of them fucking beat each other up.
Sure, why not?
Like, how cool would that be? Just three badass women just beat the fuck out of each other.
Why is this a steel cage match?
Why not, Tony?
I think that's their
Stone,
rationalization, yeah.
Robert Stone's a pain in the ass. Aaliyah's a pain in the ass. Fuck it, keep him out of there. Use a cage.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole cage thing. We always know with a cage, somebody's getting involved. It's one of those fundamental rules that makes no sense. It's, the whole purpose of this thing is to keep people away. And I don't think there's been a single cage match in the entire history that somebody hasn't come about a part of in some fashion. Actually, does anybody interfere in Brett versus Owen? I don't think so.
Not until after the match.
Yeah, so maybe that's the only one. Maybe that's why it's so freaking good. But
that match is That match is so good, Tony.
A feud is so good.
Yeah.
Add that to the list of things I just want to sit and eat French fries and whatever. And here's a random aside. I was tired of talking to Caroline yesterday, and my brain told me to blurt out, "Fries are good."
They are.
I was just sort of like, hey, that's the thing. And it is. I'd love to eat some fries right now and just watch the timeline of Brett and Owen. Still haven't had a chance to watch that episode. So,
you mentioned Caroline. I mentioned Bret Hart, and I told you this the other day. How, like, I've given up on the idea that, like, I'll find somebody cool enough to be like, hey, let's just fucking sit down and chill and watch, like, in your house stuff. And, like, I'm never gonna have that. That, maybe we'll have somebody cool to do other stuff with. What I'm saying here, people,
like, where are you going with Bret Hart on this?
I was going somewhere. I forgot where I was going. Forget it. It's 1 a.m. We're hitting the tired port. Fries are good.
So Brett, what he's saying is he wants to hang out.
No.
Eat some fries.
Although I would like to eat some fries and watch some Bret Hart matches.
Now I feel like I gotta make some joke of if the fries aren't great, 4 out of 10.
Oh, there you go.
Let's talk about the SmackDown stuff that we hadn't talked about yet. Roman Reigns starts off with a promo where he says stuff that I don't know what he said because I didn't check it.
Said stuff. Paul Heyman said, how dare WWE not grant this champion his time off and just let him have the championship while taking time off? Why would you ever go for a fiend or a monster? A fiend does fiendish things. A monster does monstrous things.
He said that?
He said that, I swear to God. Then he said, imagine Braun Strowman on Fox News had to be a rib. Oh, Braun, how does it feel to be the face of WWE? Yeah.
Pretty fucking good. I like Braun though. Well, I mean, he did lose some points earlier tonight, but he's calling himself the tribal chief now, right?
Yeah. or Paul Heyman called him that.
Not a
He
bad
called
name.
him. He called himself the Council for the Tribal Chief. Yeah, the Tribal Chief. That is the raising, because he's raising the value of the championship, defending undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. And then Roman spoke and he said, when you have my legacy, when you have everything I have, you need to do one thing, and that's show up and win. And
Trademark
we're off to the
WWE.
races.
I like the Tribal Chief name. I imagine that there's going to be plenty of times in the future I'm going to be saying Tribal Chief because that's hard to say really quickly.
Yeah,
Tribal
I
Chief.
just did that. Like,
yeah. Even worse, so special counsel to the Tribal Chief. There you go. Already, it's already started. Special counsel to the Tribal Chief. Tribal
you know
Chief.
what?
Tribal
We're
Chief.
already seeing more of that tribe, aren't we, Tony? What the?
So we were supposed to get a fatal 4-way, and it was something that they even touted that. Didn't they say that it was like, well, they had a triple threat, so let's have a fatal 4-way. They make that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
I saw one little note about that.
Everything Roman does is going to be bigger and better than anything Raw does,
Which,
and I
that's
thought that
pretty cool.
was just fucking great.
So instead of the planned fatal 4-way, though, we had a little circumstance where Big E was hanging out backstage with Lucha House Party, which didn't have any problems with each other. So I guess they just abandoned that story for at least 1 week. And Drew Gulak talking about how Xavier Woods was about to return for Talking Smack, and it's his birthday, so Big E's got a cake. And a security guard comes over and says, hey, Woods is here. So Big E goes to give him the cake, and it's Sheamus. Look at that. He attacks him. He hits the white
First
noise.
of all, shame on this fucking security guy.
Yeah, what a dick, he gives him white noise on a car windshield, and Big E gets stretchered out on an ambulance. And Sheamus, I like the line where he's like, I got a fatal 4-way I gotta get prepared for. And he comes back and he's like, actually, it's probably going to be a triple threat now. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like Sheamus.
I've been thinking Sheamus so much. It's weird. Sheamus first comes into the company. I don't like him for the longest time. Over the years, I've liked him more and more. Lately, now, this is like practically my favorite version of Sheamus. Here's something that I had tweeted. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not going to skip ahead yet. So we'll skip ahead in this fashion, I'll say. We later got the replacement for him. It is going to be a fatal 4-way, and instead of Big E, it's going to be Jey Uso. And Roman is backstage hanging out, kind of Godfather-esque, which is kind of neat. And he talks to Jey Uso, and he's like, go out there and win and whatever like that. Let's see if you can win on your own. Like, taking some shots. I know your brother would.
He was also super down for it. He's like, yeah, man. They should be giving you some respect.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that mafioso type of thing where it's like, okay, we're family. Like, yeah, I want to help you out and all that other kind of stuff, but I'm also going to take a dig at you because fuck you, I'm still the man kind of thing. Like, I'm liking it. And I was full on rooting for Jey Uso, so I'm glad that he won that. We're going to get Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at Clash of Champions.
What?
Like, what a weird set of circumstances, but you know what? I complain about a lot of stuff. When I don't like something, I complain about it. When I like it, I say that it's great. I'm very interested in this. There's no way in all hell that Jey Uso wins this match, of course. But
no, but
despite the fact that it's a guarantee,
cool.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care that it's a guarantee that he's losing. This is neat. You're going to get one of the Usos in a WWE Championship match on a pay-per-view against Roman. Pretty cool.
So cool. So on, like,
not what I would have pictured.
If you ask me at SummerSlam, what do you think of the Clash of Champions? It's not Roman Reigns versus an Uso.
Right. Even, but leading into this, before they announced the Fatal 4-Way, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be Bray Wyatt in a rematch against Roman or a triple threat or something like that. I just figured it was a guarantee. They announced the Fatal 4-Way. I'm like, oh, well, they'll probably have somebody defend the championship or whatever and then do that Fatal 4-Way or triple threat at Clash of Champions. Then they say that that's actually for the Clash of Champions shot. I'm like, all right, now I'm really confused. Then they take Big E out, and I'm like, all right, now we're going in a different direction. We go to Jey Uso, and very cool. I like it. I'm going to be more interested in that match than probably anything else on that card.
90% of the card, yeah. It's Jey Uso, Roman Reigns is a match I didn't know I wanted to see. and now I really want to see it.
Yeah, I think that's really neat.
And I'm glad they didn't rush the Big E championship match, because that's a Royal Rumble or potentially even WrestleMania.
Or TLC, or I mean, like there's ways of doing around it, but this took Big E out so that he wouldn't have to look bad in losing. Furthers the feud with Sheamus. Thumbs up. Heavy
You know
Machinery.
what? For all the shit that we will say about this company, this was really logically done. All
Yeah,
of it.
that worked out well. Heavy Machinery beat The Miz and John Morrison, and John Morrison grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase and runs away. And I had written up in my report about this, I wrote, why the hell are Otis and Tucker staring at him and just going, why you steal that thing from me? We're a couple feet away from you, but we're not going to budge. And thankfully, they followed it up with an
Logic.
explanation. I'm like, let me go back and remove that. I'm not giving them enough credit for it. Because the reason why is John Morrison grabs this briefcase and Otis does not keep the Money in the Bank contract in there. Instead, he keeps it in a little lunchbox. One of those little things that looks like a little barn kind of type style. Batista probably has one. He collects lunchboxes.
Does he really?
Apparently so. So it's a little Money in the Bank lunchbox. And it's like, well, then what do you keep in the briefcase? And Morrison opens it up. And Miz, in the meantime, is also saying, you do realize that just because you stole that doesn't mean that you're actually Mr. Money in the Bank, right? Which was oddly a babyface type of thing to say and whatever. It's kind of fun.
No, it was a logical thing to say.
Yeah.
And I really want to commend them for their use of logic.
So Morrison pulls out what's actually in there. It's a stapler and some Q-tips and a sandwich. And
there was like a sausage link in there that they didn't pull out. I bet there was just like a bunch of props and he probably just reached for the sandwich.
I thought it was funny that it was like, okay, well then he keeps his lunch in there or whatever, but there was a split second where Morrison's considering eating the sandwich.
And Miz again was like,
no.
No. So
like it's stupid and it's silly, but it's like that got a laugh out of me. That's the type of humor that can get a laugh out of me a lot more than a lot of the other things.
I want this to lead to a match where the briefcase is on the line and Miz ends up with the fucking briefcase.
Yeah, totally.
I want Miz to be champion again. I'll just say it. I know Miz gets a lot of shit, but you know what? If anybody has deserved to get another crack at the championship in the last decade, it's the Miz. Why
I don't
have they
think
never...
I don't think Miz or Morrison, for that matter, would end up becoming champion either, even if they go over to the Monday Night Raw side of things. But I mean, I'm not going to be opposed to it. Like, I'm a big fan of the Miz, so
I think Miz should definitely get another shot at the title. He deserves it. And again, for all the things that they have run back a million times, the fact that the Miz has not gotten a one-on-one championship match in 10 years is shocking.
he hasn't.
Nope.
Not even against like Styles or somebody.
Not a single on television one-on-one championship. He's been in the chamber a couple times, but he has not been in a one-on-one match. You can't even say Wyatt.
Yeah, the Wyatt thing was non-title, right?
Yep. And he still lost it.
Weird.
So like Miz deserves a little bit more in my opinion, and I hope that this leads to Miz gets the belt.
We had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax retain the women's tag titles over Bayley and Sasha Banks, which leads to Bayley attacking Sasha Banks.
Talk about it, Tony.
Finally happening, maybe.
It's Tony.
I'll believe it when it's over.
I know you don't want them to drag it out. I fully want Sasha out until the Rumble. I fully want this match at WrestleMania. You don't need to do it a minute before then. You've waited this long. You have the perfect angle to have her just sit out.
Well, clearly she's the most important thing that's keeping the ratings as what they are. I mean, if you go with what they've done the past few months, so if they get rid of Sasha for the next 10 months or however long it is, then they can't afford that.
you just need to wait 3 more months. And then, you start to go to the Royal Rumble, and that's it.
Get it over with. Do it at Clash of Champions. Just do
No.
it. Rip
No.
the Band-Aid. The
No.
wound's been healed for 2.5 years.
And listen, you did it right. You had her stretchered out. Just wait until the Rumble now and do it at Mania. It's so simple. If they rush this, especially after dragging your ass for 2 whole years.
They can't consider. You can't say that they're rushing it. They have been dragging it out for 2 years.
But that's the thing is, if you then rush the split and the match, when you tease no, do the goddamn match at WrestleMania. It could even headline.
I would absolutely hate it if they drag that out long like that.
Why? But Sasha doesn't even have to be on TV.
But then you have to get Bayley just fighting nobodies again for the next few months, just for the sake of saying it's at WrestleMania.
But that's fine.
I don't even think that we're getting fans at WrestleMania, so I don't even think that that's going to be worth it.
But listen, it has to be at WrestleMania.
Is it more worth it to have that the match happened when the pay-per-view said the word WrestleMania at the front of it than to go through the next months of dragging it out more? I don't think that there's that much of a positive just for it to be WrestleMania.
Well, listen, if you don't think that fans are going to be at Mania, how the hell do you think they're going to do a Royal Rumble?
I'll just do it.
Well,
I think that they'll just have...
Can't argue with that logic.
The way that they did everything else. They'll just do the WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania the way that it is and act like whatever, no big pops at the Royal Rumble, makes it less special. Yeah. Blah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Here's something I tweeted, though.
We're going to have different opinions. I liked it.
I tweeted out, WWE on Friday. Hey, let's book 2 people to get taken out on an ambulance on the same show, and let's drag out this Banks and Bayley feud for at least another month or 2. And morale's down. Can we tell people that they can't use Cameo or Twitch? By the way, did we fire the AOP yet? Because it's basically that's what happened today.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't like is you have no women's tag teams. Scrap the division. It's okay. We forgive you.
We had Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles basically kind of do the most basic thing they could do, which is just, I'm the Intercontinental Champion. No, I am. Hey, fuck you both. Blah, 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 blah.
I kind of like it. It's simple, but it makes sense. Everything they're doing, from Sami being fully obnoxious, like, no, I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I never lost the belt. Why is my nameplate not saying Intercontinental Champion? And then, Jeff Hardy's like, fuck it, we can fight right now. And then AJ's, no, I'm still here. It all makes sense.
AJ's like, I'm just saying, I got some ideas here. We should talk about it.
Do a ladder match. Triple threat.
Sure. I'd like it. Jey Uso stuff, Otis stuff, Jey Uso stuff. Yeah, Bray Wyatt says they're going to get a brand new friend coming to the Firefly Funhouse next week.
You know how many times I typed Playhouse tonight? As in like Pee-wee? I just kept doing it. I'm like, what the hell? But obviously it's Alexa. Followed up with Alexa saying, Nikki, I'm so sorry for smashing the mug. Meanwhile, Ramblin' Rabbits watching them. I thought that was hysterical.
Rambling Rabbit's still the best. I mean, I like the Vince Devil, and I'm not a big fan of Abby the Witch or Mercy the Buzzard.
They don't do a lot with them. Like Huskus the Pig Boy is funny because it's like, oh, he's fat and he pulls up his pants and does the muscle man dance, and Ramblin' Rabbit dies every fucking other episode. But they don't do a lot with the other 2.
Wouldn't it be kind of funny if instead of having Alexa Bliss, they actually had another puppet, and that's like the Alexa Bliss puppet in some fashion?
I'd be okay with it as long as it's the Alexa Bliss puppet, and
or
they're not like
the Braun Strowman puppet.
Kalisto.
I'd be cool with a Braun Strowman puppet. I don't know what you would call either of these, but Bliss, I'm sure they maybe do some kind of Tinkerbell-ish type of thing.
Yeah. Or Braun Strowman could be like a strongman.
Or
like a Stretcher Armstrong. Oh my god!
You know what they could do, since he's got the whole train thing? He could be like a train conductor, like was it Mr. Rogers, where like the one character was always like on the train or something.
Yeah,
I've never been
yeah.
into like puppet stuff, so I don't remember too much. But
I want to call him Choo Choo Charlie, but like probably get called Choo Choo Charlie.
Yeah, like maybe do something like that. I don't know what it would be, but like a Thomas the Tank Engine mixed with a conductor type of thing, and have that be Braun Strowman and Locomotive Lou or something, like, one of those kind of things. And that'd be kind of funny.
Conductor Cranky.
Is there like any kind of a train word that goes with a B or an S? One of those kind of things. Train words. Let's see. Boat, train, boxcar Braun.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
Oh, do it now. Please do it. Have Boxcar Braun as the newest member of that. And he just comes.
Is he just a hobo?
Even better is like if the train just comes by and it's kind of like, you see people when little kids playing with toys and they're just kind of like, brrr, like that kind of thing. And it's just like, I'm Braun. Brrr.
I feel less bad about the thing I was going to say and stop saying in the middle of it.
There's that. There's the idea that we were talking about Vince McMahon playing with the toys, and maybe we could get him to play with the Firefly Funhouse characters and just be like, my favorite's Huskus, and
he flat out said that, right? Like I love that guy.
Yeah. Huskus the Pig Boy, totally Ooter from The Simpsons.
It's good shit.
So those are the SmackDown, Raw, NXT, Dynamite stuff, the hot tags. Talk about the world. That's
had a brief moment where I tried to describe being single.
Thinking about fries are good.
It's 1:37. Like, listen, guys, this has been fun.
We said it'd be a 2-hour plus episode. It's 2.5.
I always enjoy talking to Tony.
We need therapy hour every once in a while.
Yeah, this turns into therapy hour real quick.
My headache's gone, if that counts.
See, therapy hour works. So.
Yeah. So you're gonna hear us again not that long from now.
It won't be therapy hour because we'll have Callum here to be a stick in the mud and you stop us from being crazy.
He's gonna complain about boneless chicken wings.
No, first of all, he's gonna complain that All Out's gonna be over at like 6 a.m. his time.
That's true. Actually, he might not be a part of it if it's that's late. I'm not too sure, but that's what we're gonna be doing next. It's gonna be the next thing you're gonna be hearing from us is gonna be the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast.
The other thing we do, Paul Heyman SmackDown,
because I have that scheduled to go out before the post show and stuff. Because technically speaking,
it comes out earlier.
The post show, it's going to be happening towards the end of the day or midnight or so onward. So, Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast on Saturday. I mean, technically, you're reading this today too because it's past the morning, but that's coming out today. And then after that, we're going to have the post show will be up at that point too. So, you got 3 podcasts over the course of a 2-day frame.
And then we're going to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, we need a little bit of a break. Thankfully, not another pay-per-view coming up next week or so. But
is that like the not another teen movie style of a pay-per-view?
Maybe. You look at the poster and the graphics for it, and it's like, it's paint all over the place. I can't do anything with this. This thing will never win pay-per-view of the year. That's happening though. Obviously, I hope that you've been enjoying this episode and dropping your comments below. You can be following us on the Patreon stuff. You can be following us on Facebook and Twitter. You can be following Rob, what he's got going on, his stuff.
Yeah. I say it a lot. I always plug the websites I work for. Subscribe to Fightful Select. This is not me plugging because I work there. I genuinely think that Sean Ross Sapp is one of the best in the game, and the shit that he works on to make sure that all of the stuff that is put out there is vetted and legit. You need to subscribe to Fightful Select. And as an added bonus, there is that internal memo from Vince McMahon about Cameo and TikTok and all of that. I'd also tell you, check out WrestleZone.com. Those dudes work really hard. Bill Pritchard works his ass off. There's interviews with MJF, Thunder Rosa, so many more in the WrestleZone podcast feed. Check them out. Check out me on Twitter at DudeFelice. Keep supporting. Thank you for listening to us ramble. Thank you for letting me just like brain diarrhea all over this place. And thank you, Tony, because God knows I fucking need it.
Don't we all? Check out those things that are coming up next. Check me out at Tony Mango. Check me out on eWrestling News and Bleacher Report, because I'm obviously going to be doing my
Remember when you used to be able to check me out on eWrestling News? That doesn't happen anymore.
Remember when you used to be able to check me out on Sportskeeda? And I've written on too many websites now that I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I just thought about like 2 or 3 other ones that I was just like...
You used to check out Tony on WrestleZone. Tony got me into
I was on
WrestleZone. Thank you, Tony, for the money in my bank account.
I was on WrestleZone on there. Did something for What Culture at one point. There's, you know, here and there, all over the place. Here and there and everywhere. That's a phrase, right? If not, trademark. There you go. Here and there and everywhere. The next shirt for Roman Reigns to wear when Show Up and Win is no longer a thing. And
I win here, I win there, I win everywhere. I win in a boat. I win because I'm the GOAT.
Win in a house, win in a mount. No, win in a mouse doesn't make any sense. Anyway, yeah, follow that stuff. Follow the live coverage of All Out on smark.mama.com and all the other places, because what I do on pay-per-views these days is I write pay-per-view stuff 3 times in a row. I write everything at the same time. I do coverage on 3 sites at the same time. It's very taxing. And then afterward we do our post show, and then a little bit of a break for at least a couple of days or so, because then once we get into next week, who knows what we're gonna do. At least the current game plan is to figure it out later on in the week.
Hey, you know what we should do?
Podcast.
We should play the game, but Caroline is also there.
It might be kind of fun. She will be possibly available when it comes to that, depending on when we record. And you know, we'll see what happens. But if you have any suggestions of what you would like us to do, keep in mind, of course, the AEW roster tier list. Not going to do that until October, but maybe we got some other things in mind. I will say, though, over the course of the next few weeks, one of the things that we're not going to be able to do are fan announce tables. I'm just not going to have my equipment readily available, partially because, hey, look at this TV situation. Look at that, Best Buy.
But I do not want that to discourage anybody from donating to the Patreon, because as we discussed in this 2.5-hour podcast, Tony and I need to watch Starrcade 97. We need to watch Ready to Rumble. We need to watch No Holds Barred, and we need to watch the main event.
I will say this too: if you donate to the Patreon and you do the Pick Your Poison tier, and you are requesting a fan announce table, and we're not able to do that in this time frame or whatever, you will 100% get that. It's not going to be something that I'm going to go, oh, you can't do this, or whatever like that. You can always obviously do alternatives, and we can play around with some other kind of things. Maybe you do like a review type of thing instead of actual watch along. But keep in mind, like we'll figure it out at some point, whether it's the beginning of October and we just cram in that week for the takeover thing or something. We'll sort it out. So show your support on Patreon or the YouTube membership platform thing, the applause button, the merchandise shops, just hitting the like button and the follow and subscribing and doing everything on all the platforms that are out there except for TuneIn. And so petty. Just hang in there. That's a good way to put that. And we'll see you next time, everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment. We're being counted out.